Chapter 828. Yi Chen did not know why the school had fallen to such a state, but since he was already here, he would not let the school continue to fall. Even if he had to spend a lot of effort, it would be worth it. Of course, he would not give up on training either, since it was a world where only the powerful ones would be respected. Only with power could one have everything. Walking with big steps, Yi Chen was followed by a group of disciples. Senior brother Gao, who do you think he is? On the side, Li Kui passed on her Zhen Yuan. If he is an enemy, then there is no need for him to be so polite to us. Therefore, we can basically rule him out as an enemy. Gao Jiuan shook his head. He did not know who Yi Chen was, so he could only analyze it based on his own guesses. Unfortunately, no matter how hard he thought, he could not understand why Yi Chen would say that he was from the school, because there was no such horrifying martial genius in the school. He was already a martial genius. If he had enough resources, he thought that he could train to late Sea of Soul's realm. But compared to Yi Chen, it was not even worth mentioning. The latter had been hiding for a long time, and he had not even noticed a single trace of him. Moreover, from his aura, he could vaguely feel that he would be able to stand at the top and look down on all the other mountains. What kind of martial genius was this? He is so young. Wu Changxing had always been a straightforward person, so he spoke more directly. Although his voice was very soft, everyone heard it. It would have been fine if Wu Changxing did not say it. Once he did, everyone finally noticed Yi Chen's appearance. Before, because Yi Chen's aura was way too powerful, they had not noticed it. Yi Chen looked like he was only 22 years old, which meant that he had reached the astral reaching realm at the most. Before reaching the astral reaching realm, all the warriors' lifespan was about the same, around 100 years old. The more powerful ones would reach over 100 years old, which would be considered normal. If Yi Chen had reached the astral reaching realm before 22 years old, he would not have looked like he was 22 years old. If he had reached the astral reaching realm at 22 years old, then the possibility of him reaching the Sea of Soul's realm would be 0. So, Yi Chen would have reached the astral reaching realm a few years earlier, perhaps 17 or 18 years old. Becoming an astral reaching realm warrior at the age of 17. This, including Gao Jiuan, everyone was shocked. In the past 1,000 years, no one had managed to reach the astral reaching realm at the age of 17 or 18. 19 was the youngest. But, this record might have been broken by Yi Chen. But, what they did not know was that Yi Chen had actually reached the astral reaching realm at the age of 19, which was a year and a half later than Xianhu. However, because of the fast speed of reaching the Sea of Soul's realm, he looked like he was in his early 20s. When Yi Chen and the group arrived at the middle of the mountain, all of the powerful warriors of the school had already gathered. There were 3 late Sea of Soul's realm warriors, 9 mid Sea of Soul's realm warriors, and 20 early Sea of Soul's realm warriors. There were 32 Sea of Soul's realm warriors in total. Adding Gao Jiuan, there were 33 of them. Among the rank 6 martial schools, the school with 33 Sea of Soul's realm warriors was already considered a powerful rank 6 martial school, which was more powerful than any of the rank 6 martial schools in the South Rudra region. Leader, the person who has arrived is very young. He looks kind and peaceful, without any killing intent. But, we have never seen him before. I wonder if you have any idea. Among the 3 late Sea of Soul's realm warriors in the front, a grey-haired elder said to the man in his 50s. The man in his 50s was the leader of the school, called Li Zhongfeng. He looked like a scholar, but there was a trace of tiredness in between his brows. After staying silent for a while, he said, I have not seen this person before either. But, we should not underestimate him. Some people like to use peaceful means before resorting to violence. We have to be careful. Leader, you are right. In the past, they had always fought their way into our school and humiliated us. But, in the recent years, they have become even more despicable. They have always been playing those dirty tricks, making fun of us. Today, I have decided that even if I die, I will fight with him. Master Liu, do not be reckless. Wait until he gets to the top of the mountain, then we will know if he is a friend or a foe. Li Zhongfeng stared at the path down the mountain, his nerves tensed up. Behind him, all of the elders, attendants, and thousands of disciples were also watching without blinking. Some of them had sweat dripping down their foreheads. After about 10 minutes, Yi Chen arrived at the top of the mountain. So young. There were not many people in the school who could release their soul power out. Most of them could only release their mental power. But, once one reached the realm of Yi Chen, with his powerful sword intent, even if he were to stand there, his mental power would not be able to sense it. Therefore, when Yi Chen walked into everyone's sight, a lot of people gasped. Perhaps it is the #1 martial genius of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, Ling Hui? Some of the disciples who had not seen the world before guessed. Leader. Getting up the mountain, Gao Jiyuan and the rest did not follow behind Yi Chen anymore. Instead, they returned to the camp of the school, and all of them faced Yi Chen. It is good that you are back. A late Sea of Souls realm warrior on the left of Li Zhongfeng looked at Gao Jiyuan with relief. He could tell from Gao Jiyuan's eyes that he had decided to stay, which was a great thing for the school. Leader, Master, I have failed you guys. Gao Jiyuan lowered his head in shame. Jiyuan, we are the ones who have failed you. You do not need to feel ashamed. Right now, we will put this matter aside for now. Li Zhongfeng smiled at Gao Jiyuan before looking back at Yi Chen. May I ask this young warrior, what is your purpose for coming to our school? Li Zhongfeng asked. Yi Chen studied the school's formation and frowned slightly. Compared to a rank 6 martial school, there were indeed a lot of powerful warriors, but not many disciples. There were only a few thousand of them. Normal rank 6 martial schools would have tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of disciples. Yi Chen's frown made Li Zhongfeng misunderstand, thinking that he was being disdainful. So, his tone could not help but be more serious. Although our school does not have many people, we are not a bunch of useless people. What is your purpose for coming to our school? If not, please leave the mountain. I will not see you out. Letting out a breath, Yi Chen said with a serious expression, to be honest, I am also a disciple of the Battle King. What did you say? Li Zhongfeng's eyes were wide open, shining brightly. Yi Chen said that he was the disciple of the Battle King. Was the Battle King still alive? Not only Li Zhongfeng, but everyone in the school was shocked as well. The school was originally called the Immortal Sword Martial School, which was something that a lot of people knew. The Immortal Sword Martial School was created by the Battle King, which meant that he was the founder of the school or the school. Not to mention the school's pride, a lot of people in the Blood Sky continent respected the Battle King a lot, especially his enemies, who were scared of him like a tiger. Young warrior, you said that you are the disciple of the Battle King. Could it be that the Battle King is still alive? The late Sea of Souls realm warrior next to Li Zhongfeng looked at Yi Chen hopefully. When the Battle King created the school, he was not even 100 years old. Right now, he was at most 700 years old, so it was quite possible that he was still alive. If he was really still alive, then the school would be able to regain the name of the Immortal Sword Martial School, and the disciples would not have to suffer anymore. They would be able to tell the others that they were the disciples of the Immortal Sword Martial School, and the school would be able to return to its peak in a short period of time, becoming one of the rank 5 martial schools in the Blood Sky land. Yi Chen shook his head slightly. No, the Battle King should be dead already. Although Yi Chen also hoped that the Battle King was still alive, how could a living person seal his memory in a sword? Only a dead person would be able to do that. Their physical bodies were already dead, but the last bit of consciousness that was left was still attached to something, like the Yuan Emperor. When did he die? Li Zhongfeng was breathing heavily, his face pale. Maybe 500 years ago. Yi Chen wasn't too sure, so he immediately said, Senior Battle King's sword was obtained by me. His remaining consciousness told me a lot of things, which benefited me a lot. That's why I said that I could barely be considered Senior Battle King's disciple. Do you have proof? Of course I do. Yi Chen took out the broken sword and said, this sword belonged to the Battle King. He also said that if you don't believe me, you can let me tell you the name of an item, the Love Stone. Love Stone. Li Zhongfeng's voice was shaking. He took out a jade stone from his storage ring. Inside the jade stone, there was a pair of mandarin ducks. This jade stone was given to his wife by the Battle King, and his wife was the first-generation leader of the Li family. As for Li Zhongfeng, he was the descendant of the Battle King and his wife. This love stone had been passed down from generation to generation, just so that one day, he could reunite with the Battle King. The Battle King's name was Li Zhongtian. It seems like you are the descendant of the Battle King. Yi Chen sighed. Dead. He really is dead. How I wish that you did not come to the Zhongtian martial school. Li Zhongfeng's eyes were full of pain. Before Yi Chen's arrival, he had been hoping that the old ancestor would one day return to Blood Sky Continent and return to Eternal Sky Sect. As long as there was hope, there would be motivation to continue living. But now, that hope was shattered. The Battle King is really dead. Most of the people in the Zhongtian martial school looked sad. Yi Chen was about to say something, but his eyes suddenly turned sharp as he looked at a huge mountain behind the buildings. Who are you? How dare you humiliate the Zhongtian martial school? Shoo! A shadow flew over at an extreme speed. Before the person even arrived, he had already thrown out a sword attack at Yi Chen. That sword attack was as fast as lightning and as fast as the wind. It obviously contained the thunder profound and wind profound. The space around it had even created an intense pattern. Yeah. There is a half-step king warrior in the Zhongtian martial school? I did not use my soul power to check it out. Yi Chen could tell his cultivation with one look. Great Master, don't. Li Zhongfeng and the rest were shocked. Although they knew that Yi Chen was at the half-step king warrior level, the Great Master had been at the half-step king warrior level for hundreds of years. His cultivation was extremely powerful, and his sword skills were amazing. He had the title of Sword Maniac. After knowing Yi Chen's identity, they had already considered Yi Chen as one of their own. How could they let the Great Master kill Yi Chen with one sword attack? Don't worry. Yi Chen faintly smiled as he reached out 2 fingers and pinched it between his fingers. What is he trying to do? Everyone frowned, thinking that Yi Chen was being too arrogant. But, they could not stop the Great Master either, since a half-step king warrior was so powerful. Chapter 829. The Great Master of the Zhongtian Martial School was a grey-haired elder. His speed was extremely fast, and within a blink of an eye, he had already arrived in front of Yi Chen. He threw out a sword attack, the sword light extremely sharp. The elder's attacking speed was extremely fast, but Yi Chen's 2 fingers were even faster. It was as if he was waiting for the elder's sword attack. Chin. Yi Chen's fingers were as hard as steel. The sword light surged and easily clamped onto the elder's sword, bringing up bright sparks. Clamped. Li Zhongfeng's mouth was wide open as he gasped. Clamping onto the Great Master's sword with his fingers? How is that possible? All of the masters, attendants, and disciples behind Li Zhongfeng were all shocked as they stared at Yi Chen's fingers. Those 2 long and slim fingers looked very smooth, which was a huge contrast to the Great Master's great sword. However, it was these 2 fingers that had clamped onto the sword without being harmed at all. His power is about the same as Senior Qing Liu. He is one of the top half-step king warriors. Below the top half-step king warriors' power would not be judged by their cultivation. Martial intent and profound sense martial arts were also part of their power. For this elder to have this kind of power was already quite impressive. In the Elysium, more than 90% of the half-step king warriors were normal half-step king warriors. It was not that they did not have a high cultivation, but it was mainly because of their limited talent that they could not create powerful martial arts. Star point explosion. Seeing that his sword had been clamped by Yi Chen, the elder yelled. He shook his wrist and the tip of his sword vibrated. A bright starlight exploded as a wave of strange power passed through the great sword and onto Yi Chen's fingers, trying to break Yi Chen's fingers. Chem. This sword art is very impressive. Yi Chen flicked his eyebrows as his fingers shook as well, removing that power. Meanwhile, he put his middle finger on his thumb and flicked it at the tip of the great sword. Chin. Although the great sword in the elder's hand was only a normal half-step extreme rank greatsword, it would still not be broken by Yi Chen's 1 finger. Plus, Yi Chen had not used all of his power yet. However, the great sword did not break, but the elder could not handle that sharp finger power. The great sword bent and the elder's hand started to bleed, almost flying out of his hand. Senior, I think you should stop. Yi Chen did not chase after him. Instead, he took 10 steps back and said to the elder. Unexpectedly, not only did the elder not stop, he even yelled out. A cruel light shone in his eyes as he threw out another sword attack toward Yi Chen. That bright sword light drew an arc in the air, and a corner of the mountain peak was cut off by that sword attack, falling down with a loud sound. This great master of Sky School. Is there something wrong with his head? Yi Chen frowned, his expression not looking too good. Using his sword steps, Yi Chen completely ignored that arc-shaped sword light and appeared in front of the gray-haired elder within a second, throwing out a punch. This punch not only contained hundreds of thousands of pounds of physical power, it was also performed by Yi Chen's Thunder Devour, which was extremely overbearing. Boom! The gray-haired old man flew backward, his hair disheveled and disheveled. Ah! The elder still wanted to continue the fight, as if he had gone crazy. Seeing that, Yi Chen was speechless. He could feel that the elder was not normal anymore. Not only did he act alone, but he also did not know how to analyze his opponent's power. All he knew was to keep attacking until he was dead. Great Master, it is me, Li Zhongfeng. While Yi Chen was pushing back the elder, Li Zhongfeng took the chance and stood in front of the elder, his eyes full of guilt. Zhongfeng. You are Zhongfeng. I know you. The elder was slightly more awake now, and did not rush toward Yi Chen anymore. Great Master, he is a disciple of our ancestor, a friend of our school. He is not here to humiliate us. Don't worry. Li Zhongfeng said patiently. Oh, a friend, not here to humiliate the school. Then, I will not worry anymore. The elder laughed like a fool, his eyes gentle. Seeing that, Li Zhongfeng's nose turned sour, and his tears almost fell down. Some of the emotional female elders and disciples could not help but cover their mouths and cry quietly. Senior Li, what happened to this elder? Yi Chen asked. Turning around, Li Zhongfeng took a deep breath and said, the great master is a bit out of his mind. Sorry for that. So that's how it is. Yi Chen was still a bit suspicious. It was true that the elder was out of his mind, but there must be something else going on. Otherwise, people from the school would not have that sad and angry expression on their faces. Li Zhongfeng did not want to spend more time on this, so he forced a smile and said, look at how I treat my guests. I don't even know your name. May I know your real name? I am Yi Chen. Yi Chen held his fists together. Then I will call you by your name. Li Zhongfeng nodded and yelled at the people from the school, all right, Yi Chen is not the enemy. Let's go. With the leader's order, everyone started to disperse. Li Zhongfeng and a lot of the masters surrounded Yi Chen and walked toward the meeting palace. As for the elder with grey hair, he did not care about anyone and just flew back to his own mountain peak with a silly smile on his face. Soon, the huge plaza became empty without a single person. Inside the palace, Li Zhongfeng thought for a while and asked Yi Chen, are you from the True Spirit continent? According to the records of the Li family, the Battle King was from the True Spirit continent, and not from the Blood Sky land. So, Yi Chen was most likely from there as well. Yi Chen nodded, indeed. Then, this time, besides telling us about our ancestor, is there anything else? It would be impossible for Li Zhongfeng not to have any expectations, since Yi Chen's power was way more powerful than the Great Master. He was at least a top half-step king warrior. If there was a top half-step king warrior, the school would be even more powerful, and would not be easily bullied. Yi Chen said honestly, Battle King asked me to come to the Blood Sky land to have a look. Although he did not ask me to help you directly, I am not a heartless person. Naturally, I will not leave the school alone. If you do not mind, I can find a position in the school. You are willing to be a member of the school? Li Zhongfeng's eyes brightened as he breathed heavily. Inside the palace, all of the top masters looked happy. The school was in a very difficult situation right now, and they needed powerful warriors. I have a family and a martial school in the True Spirit continent as well. Therefore, I cannot join the school with all my heart. But, Senior Li, you can treat me as a member of the school. I am already very happy that you are willing to join the school. Why would I care about anything else? How about this? If you do not mind, You can be the second great master of the school, just like the great master. Normally, the school will not bother you too much. You just need to focus on your training. Li Zhongfeng would naturally not ask Yi Chen to be an inner master, since it was obviously not nice. No matter if it was Yi Chen's seniority or Yi Chen's power, they were both more than enough to be the great master. Yi Chen did not reject it. In the Sky Cloud Martial School, he was the great master. Being a great master in the school would not be too bad either. At least, it would not take up too much of his time. After confirming Yi Chen's position, the following topics were much more relaxed. After chatting for a while, Yi Chen could not help but ask, "Leader, what happened to the Immortal Sword Martial School? Why did it change its name to the Zhongtian Martial School? And why are there so few disciples?" Li Zhongfeng seemed to know that Yi Chen would ask about this, so he answered, "It is a long story. I will tell you in a nutshell. When the great ancestor was still in the Blood Skyland, the Immortal Sword Martial School was like the sun in the sky. There were millions of masters, attendants, and disciples. We were the tyrant of the Iron Blood region. Even the Iron Foot Beast Martial School, one of the top 10 beast martial schools, was suppressed by us. Where there is life, there will be conflicts. It was because the Immortal Sword Martial School was so powerful that when they fought with other martial schools, they would be a bit more aggressive." Yi Chen nodded. A powerful martial school would indeed cause them to be a bit aggressive in certain aspects, and they would definitely piss off a lot of people. It was still okay when the great ancestor was still here. But after he left the Blood Skyland, some of the powerful parties started to make their moves. The good thing was that they knew that although the great ancestor had left, he would definitely come back, so they did not dare to do anything reckless. However, after 100 or 200 years, the great ancestor still had not come back, and there were rumors saying that the great ancestor had been killed in the True Spirit Land. So, those powerful parties could not wait anymore. As he spoke up to hear, Li Zhongfeng tightened his fists. "In the beginning, they were only trying to make things difficult for us. But then, it turned into an open pressure, and they even started to hunt our powerful warriors. Especially the Iron Foot Beast Martial School, one of the top 10 beast martial schools. They led a huge amount of warriors and joined hands with other martial schools to attack us. If it were not for the rule in the Blood Skyland that life and death realm warriors or beast kings could not attack martial schools without king warriors themselves, our Immortal Sword Martial School would have already become history. There is such a rule in the Blood Skyland as well." Yi Chen looked like he was thinking about something. Indeed, it was because of this rule that our Immortal Sword Martial School had a chance of survival. But there were just too many powerful enemies, and we could not stop them all. In the end, a mysterious and powerful titled Emperor Warrior appeared and stopped the enemies from killing us all. He suggested to change the name of the Immortal Sword Martial School. After the name change, no one was allowed to attack us. Anyone who disobeyed would be killed without mercy. A mysterious and powerful titled Emperor Warrior? Yi Chen finally understood. After hearing what Li Zhongfeng had said, if there were no outside help, the Immortal Sword Martial School would not have been able to survive. It turned out that there was a titled Emperor Warrior helping them. The Immortal Sword Martial School changed its name to the Zhongtian Martial School and moved out of the mysterious Iron Mountain, which had been occupied by the Beast Wolf Martial School. So, our school came to this unknown place. But they still did not let us go. They encouraged some of the other parties to try to suppress us. They would not let us grow up. Our school had already lost a lot of power, and we were not even 1/10 of our peak power. Naturally, we had been suppressed badly. There were less and less disciples, and the powerful warriors had disappeared mysteriously. Until today, there were only a few thousand people in our school. Yi Chen continued to ask, "What kind of parties are there?" "The most powerful ones are all rank 6 martial schools or families. They are the Extreme Heaven Martial School, the Earth Bear Family, the Bald Eagle Valley." Chapter 830. The Iron Blood region was huge, as big as 2 regions of the True Spirit continent. In the Blood Skyland, it was also one of the top 5 regions. In such a huge region, there would naturally be a lot of powerful parties. Besides the rank 5 martial institutions, there were dozens of rank 6 martial institutions. The Zhongtian Martial School was located in the west of the Iron Blood region. There were 3 rank 6 martial institutions around, which were the Extreme Heaven Martial School, the Earth Bear Family, and the Bald Eagle Valley. These 3 rank 6 martial institutions were all targeting the Zhongtian Martial School. It was not hard to imagine how much pressure the Zhongtian Martial School was under. From what Li Zhongfeng had said, the 3 martial institutions were all very powerful. The Extreme Heaven Martial School was a demon martial school, with 3 top half-step king warriors and hundreds of thousands of disciples. It was the biggest rank 6 martial institution in the west of the Iron Blood region. The Earth Bear family was a demi-beast family, with 2 demi-beast kings and hundreds of thousands of people. All of them were extremely powerful, with the blood of the Earth Bear King flowing in their veins. The Bald Eagle Valley was a beast martial school, which mainly consisted of flying beasts. There were 2 demi-beast kings, the Grey Eagle King and the Flying Eagle King. Facing the pressure from the top 3 martial institutions, it was already very hard for the Zhongtian Martial School to survive. Forcing a laugh, Li Zhongfeng said, "The top 3 martial institutions will do anything they want. Once our people leave the mountain and go out to look for opportunities, they will find us and kill us. After a long time, the Zhongtian Martial School has been trapped in this small mountain. Our resources have been getting less and less, and we are running out of resources. A lot of our disciples are quite talented, but due to the lack of resources, their progress is very slow. Naturally, no one would want to be a disciple of the Zhongtian Martial School. In the recent years, the number of new disciples has not even reached 50. Resources were the foundation of a martial institution. Cutting off the source of resources would be the same as cutting off the hope of the martial institution. It was indeed cruel. Leader, why don't you move the Zhongtian Martial School out of the Blood Skyland? Yi Chen did not believe that the top 3 martial schools would run away with Zhongtian School. Once they were outside, Zhongtian School would have the chance to continue developing. Here, they could only wait for death. Li Zhongfeng said, "We have already discussed this suggestion, but it is not feasible. Although we can avoid the pressure from the top 3 martial schools, during the migration process, if we run into any danger, it will be easy for us to be completely annihilated, making Zhongtian School history. Staying here, although we will not be able to develop, and we will have to endure the humiliation from the top 3 martial schools, we will still be able to preserve the foundation of Zhongtian School. With the order from that titled emperor, they will not dare to attack us and destroy us." You're right. Yi Chen had not thought about this at all. This world was full of danger. If Zhongtian Martial School had a top half-step king warrior, then it would be fine. But, if not, then the migration would be very dangerous. For example, if they ran into the Blood Ocean's 50 pirates. No, it would only take a third of the 50 pirates to easily destroy the school. Don't worry, leader. With me here, the 3 sects are nothing to worry about. In the future, there will be more and more disciples. Yi Chen had to give Li Zhongfeng a bit of confidence. The top 3 martial schools are nothing to worry about. Li Zhongfeng looked at Yi Chen with a shocked expression. "May I ask, Master Yi, are you a top half-step king warrior?" Yi Chen smiled lightly and said, "You will know in the future." Even if he told them now, they would not really believe him, since he could not reveal all of his trump cards just to win everyone's trust. Although Yi Chen did not say exactly what kind of half-step king warrior he was, all of the masters there were extremely excited. Since Yi Chen could beat the Great Master so easily, it meant that he was most likely a top half-step king warrior. As for anything above that, they did not even dare to think about it. With a top half-step king warrior, perhaps the top 3 martial schools would be a bit scared, and would not dare to bully the school too much. Yi Chen being promoted to the Great Master was a big deal. On the second day, Li Zhongfeng called everyone to the plaza in front of the palace and announced Yi Chen's status. Great Master. So young. Just like what Li Zhongfeng had expected, everyone was shocked after hearing the news. But, no one doubted whether Yi Chen was qualified or not, since the day before, Yi Chen had caught the Great Master's sword with 2 fingers and blown him away with 1 punch. With the 2 great elders, our Zhongtian School's days will be much better. That is for sure. Master Yi's power is way more powerful than Master Lu's. If Master Lu can recover, Our school will be even more powerful. All of the disciples discussed. Looking at the thousands of disciples, Yi Chen turned his head and said to Li Zhongfeng, "Leader, I think most of these disciples have a very high mental state, but their cultivation is a bit low. Do you have enough spirit stones?" Li Zhongfeng said awkwardly, "We still have some spirit stones in storage, but not much. After hundreds of years of not being able to make ends meet, we have less and less spirit stones, especially top-rank spirit stones. Even I am using mid-rank spirit stones to train." Yi Chen did not expect the school to be this miserable, so he said, "If the leader trusts me, then from today on, take out all the spirit stones in the storage. Everyone must have enough spirit stones. As for the threat of the top 3 martial schools, I will handle it. I believe that the school will be able to find a way out." "All right." Li Zhongfeng bit on his teeth and agreed. Yi Chen was very important to him, and he also felt that it was time for the school to change. Taking out a low-rank storage ring, Yi Chen handed it over to Li Zhongfeng. "There are 1 million top-rank spirit stones inside. Don't reject it. It is nothing to me, but it is very important for the school right now." Yi Chen would not support the school, but he would still give it some support in the beginning. After all, where would the school find top-rank spirit stones right now? And 1 million top-rank spirit stones were really nothing to Yi Chen. After the Blood Ocean battle, his top-rank spirit stones had reached 100 million again. Li Zhongfeng took over the storage ring with shaking hands. 1 million top-rank spirit stones was not a small number. Normal rank 6 martial schools would not even have this many spirit stones in storage. Only the powerful rank 6 martial schools would have such a horrifying amount of spirit stones in storage. As a great master, he would have his own mountain. On top of it, there were a lot of palaces. The next day, Yi Chen moved in. A couple of days passed quickly. During the day, Yi Chen spent all his time on forging mid-rank great swords. At night, he would focus on training, trying his best to increase his cultivation. That night, Yi Chen had just finished training. Half-step King Warrior realm is very hard to increase. After a couple of months, I finally have the feeling of reaching high-level half-step King Warrior. Yi Chen looked happy. Increasing one's cultivation was the best. If one had enough potential, he would reach his goal sooner or later. But, no matter how easy it was to increase, it would take some time, and what Yi Chen lacked the most was time. Therefore, he always felt that he was improving too slowly. Once he reached high-level half-step King Warrior realm, his power would definitely reach the next level. I still do not know much about the school. How about I check out the disciples' thoughts? Feeling bored, Yi Chen suddenly released his soul power, covering the whole school. Yi Chen's soul power had already reached life and death realm. Once he released his soul power, no one below life and death realm would be able to sense it. At night, there were still a lot of disciples who had not slept yet. Most of them were training hard, sitting behind closed doors, or practicing martial arts. Of course, there were also some disciples who were tired from training and chatting together. The new Great Master is indeed impressive. He is so young, and already has half-step King Warrior cultivation. If I could reach this level, I would be able to protect the school. You, try hard for a few more decades. Half-step King Warrior is not something that can be reached easily. We are only at astral reaching realm. I am just saying. Of course I know. I just don't want you to bite off more than you can chew. Thank you. If only Master Lu had recovered his consciousness. With 2 top half-step King Warriors, our school would not be that weak anymore. Yi Chen's eyes flashed with curiosity. The Master Lu mentioned by these 2 disciples was that great master with grey hair. He wondered what had happened to him. That's right. That Earth Bear family is too despicable, especially that Rock Bear King, who is extremely evil. He has humiliated our school many times. Even Master Lu had been hit on the head by him, turning him into an idiot. He only recognizes the leader alone. Poor Master Lu. Retracting his soul power, Yi Chen frowned to himself. So, Master Lu was beaten into an idiot. Perhaps that Rock Bear King has the power of a top half-step King Warrior? The Earth Bear was one of the 100 beasts. It was at the same level as the 9-headed snake and the gold lion. It was a demi-beast with its bloodline. It was extremely talented and had the power to fight beyond its realm. Of course, the bloodline had to be rich enough. Otherwise, it would only be slightly more powerful than normal humans. The days passed by one after another. Yi Chen's mid-rank sword forging art was getting more and more powerful. There was already 90% chance that he could forge a super-rank mid-rank greatsword. Once his mid-rank sword forging art reached perfection, Yi Chen would be able to forge top-rank greatswords, which would be a qualitative improvement. Besides that, Yi Chen's cultivation bottleneck had finally been loosened. Inside the secret room, Yi Chen sat on the stone platform with both of his hands holding a Jin Yuan crystal, absorbing the Jin Yuan power inside into his body. Inside the secret room, the ripples continued to spread out, washing the walls and shaking off layers of stone powder. It was the pressure brought by the increase of Jin Yuan. Woo! All of a sudden, a wave of powerful Jin Yuan vibration spread out, and the secret room completely collapsed. Rocks flew everywhere, and the chi flow was like a sword. On top of the mountain, a pillar-like sword chi shot up into the sky, connecting the sky and the ground. A lot of people from the school looked up at that horrifying sword chi, feeling shocked. Woo! Letting out a breath, Yi Chen opened his eyes and murmured to himself, "I've finally reached top-rank half-step king warrior level." Although the purity of Jin Yuan did not increase by much, the amount of Jin Yuan has doubled. It's enough for me to perform the evil shattering sword 10 times. After the top-rank half-step king warrior level was the life and death challenge. Yi Chen had unknowingly reached this boundary, and his power had increased by a lot. Chapter 831. It was daytime right now, and people from the school did not dare to go down the mountain. Therefore, a lot of people had noticed this. The leader, the masters, and the disciples were all paying attention. "Leader, it seems like Master Yi has made a breakthrough," the headmaster of the school said to Li Zhongfeng with a smile. Li Zhongfeng said happily, "This is a good thing. Master Yi has indeed reached half-step king warrior realm at such a young age. His improvement is so fast. Leader, Master Yi has made a breakthrough in his cultivation. We should go congratulate him," the second master, who was also at late seas of Soul's realm, suggested. Li Zhongfeng nodded. "You are right. We should go and congratulate him." Just like that, Li Zhongfeng brought a bunch of inner masters and a couple of core disciples to congratulate Yi Chen. It was a very grand occasion. Although Yi Chen did not like it, he did not want to be treated coldly either. So, he accepted their kindness. "Gao Jiyuan, you stay." Before everyone left, Yi Chen called out to Gao Jiyuan. "Me?" Gao Jiyuan was a bit surprised. Li Zhongfeng was also very surprised, but he did not think that Yi Chen would do anything to Gao Jiyuan. He thought that he would probably give him something good, so he said, "Jiyuan, Master Yi asked you to stay, so you should stay." "Yes, leader." Gao Jiyuan stayed. Waiting until everyone left, Yi Chen said to Gao Jiyuan, "I have been observing you secretly. Your mental state has already reached late seas of Soul's realm. As long as you have enough resources, you will be able to increase your cultivation in a short period of time. Reaching peak level late seas of Soul's realm will not be hard at all." Gao Jiyuan held his fists together and said, "Thank you for the compliment, Master Yi. But, the school does not have enough resources. Being able to train with top-rank spirit stones, I am already satisfied." He had already learned from the leader that the reason why the school was able to give out enough top-rank spirit stones was because of Yi Chen's support. Right now, the school is still very weak. There are not many powerful warriors. I alone will not be able to make the school prosper. I will still need you guys. A sect couldn't do without peak experts, but it also couldn't be without a backbone. Peak experts were used to intimidate others, and only the backbone could do the real thing. Otherwise, if Yi Chen had to worry about everything, wouldn't he have no time to cultivate? Jiyuan has the confidence to reach late sea of Soul realm within 2 years. Gao Jiyuan cursed. 2 years is too long. Yi Chen shook his head and took out 10 Jin Yuan crystals from his storage ring, handing them over. "These are Jin Yuan crystals, enough for you to reach the peak of late sea of Soul realm. As for how long it will take, It will depend on your foundation. No matter how high one's state of mind was, one's foundation had to be solid. It was like a wooden bucket filled with water, there could not be a single shortcoming. Jin Yuan crystal. Gao Jiuan was shocked. These were even better training items than extreme rank spirit stones. Could it be that Yi Chen could create Jin Yuan crystals himself? Normally, only life and death realm warriors could do it. But nothing was absolute, and a small portion of half-step king warriors could do it as well. Gao Jiuan thought that these Jin Yuan crystals were created by Yi Chen himself, so he did not expect it to be from somewhere else. Go. Yi Chen waved his hand. Thank you, Master Yi. Gao Jiuan walked out of the Great Master's palace gratefully. With these Jin Yuan crystals, he had the confidence to reach mid-sea of Soul Realm within half a month. As for late sea of Soul Realm, it would depend on the situation. Sword Realm. On a small mountain deep in the back of the mountains, Yi Chen was surrounded by a blue chi flow, covering hundreds of miles of area within a second. Ting, ting. Countless sword cries rang out. In the void, many green swords were condensed. The swords were long and narrow, flashing with a cold light, causing people to shudder. Go. Yi Chen yelled with a low voice. Shoo, 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 shoo. Thousands of blue great swords shot out, flying across the top of the mountain in front of them. Their speed was extremely shocking, not much slower than the defensive sword spell. Without a sound, the top of the mountain in front of them seemed to have been eroded by the wind. Countless dust particles were blown into the air before disappearing along with the wind. After reaching the high-rank half-step king warrior realm, the sword realm's coverage has increased a lot, and its attacking power has increased a lot as well. Each blue great sword has the power of a peak-level late sea of Soul Realm warrior's full power attack. Although a peak-level late sea of Soul Realm warrior could attack multiple times within a second, tens of thousands of blue great swords would be equivalent to thousands of peak-level late sea of Soul Realm warriors attacking at once. I am afraid it would be able to easily kill a top half-step king warrior at the first level of the life and death challenge. Even a second-level warrior would not be able to survive. The sword realm was extremely useful. No matter if it was a one-on-one battle or facing a group of warriors, it would have a huge destructive power. Days passed by, and Yi Chen's mid-rank sword forging art had finally reached perfection. Next, he would be able to forge top-rank great swords. However, Yi Chen did not give up just like that. He spent all of his attention on learning the profound. The higher the profound, the harder it would be to improve. No matter how talented one was or how high one's comprehensive ability was, one would not be able to improve one's profound that fast. This was something that Yi Chen had already felt. However, after forging great swords for a long time, Yi Chen's understanding of the metal profound was extremely deep. He was just a step away from making a breakthrough. All of the metals are formed by the metal Yuan Qi. But some of them are extremely hard to destroy, while some of them are just scrap metal that can be easily broken. This is caused by the different arrangement of the metal Yuan Qi. As long as I can understand some of the rules, it will not be too hard for me to make a breakthrough in my metal profound. Yi Chen calmed down and started to learn the metal profound. Half a month later, a sharp golden light shone from Yi Chen's body. His whole body seemed like a sharp great sword that could pierce through people. My metal profound has finally reached 90% completion. Standing on top of a mountain, Yi Chen could feel that the metal Yuan Qi in the surroundings was very friendly to him. He could easily control it, and compared to before, it was much easier to control. Cut. Raising his right hand, Yi Chen threw out a palm attack. Swoosh. The black crescent-shaped sword energy flashed past, and more than a dozen mountains were cut in half. Nothing could stop this sword energy. 90% metal profound and 60% water profound. The power of waning moon is indeed a lot stronger. What a pity, if only the water profound was raised to 90% as well. With the two fusing together, the power of the waning moon would be doubled. Without worrying too much, Yi Chen did not expect to comprehend many profounds to completion before life and death realm. What he needed now was accumulation. The higher the realm of the profounds, the more complete they would be after reaching life and death realm, which would save him a lot of effort. Another half a month passed by. During this time, Yi Chen had only casually forged 2 upper-rank swords, and spent the rest of the time on increasing his power. Although it was just a casual process, Yi Chen had trained his mid-rank sword forging art to perfection. The upper-rank swords he forged were all mid-rank, not bad at all. On top of the mountain, Yi Chen waved his sword, causing the space to twist. Sometimes, it was like a frozen mirror, and other times, it shattered. The power of space spread out in all directions, looking extremely frightening. Hey! What's going on? Putting away his sword, Yi Chen spread out his soul power, spreading it to the headquarters of the school. On the huge plaza in front of the main hall, a group of people were confronting 3 youngsters. These 3 youngsters were 2 males and 1 female. The man standing next to the girl was about 25 or 26 years old, wearing black robes. He had a handsome face, and his arrogance and disdain were not hidden at all. The girl standing next to him was very pretty. Although she was not as pretty as Murong Qingcheng, she was still a rare beauty. Her eyes were extremely attractive, like precious stones. The young man in blue robes behind the 2 was even more shocking. His cultivation was unfathomable, and he stood with his hands behind his back, looking very calm. On the side of the school, the leader was Gao Jiyuan. Looking at the girl next to the handsome young man, a painful expression flashed through Gao Jiyuan's face. After a while, he said slowly, "What are you doing here? Are you laughing at me?" The pretty girl studied him and said, "I did not expect you to reach peak level mid-sea of Soul's Realm already. It is really out of my expectation. Unfortunately, staying in the school has already sealed your future. Even if you manage to become a half-step king warrior, your youth will be gone. So what? Plus, I believe that the school will rise again." Within this 1 month, Gao Jiyuan had already reached peak level mid-sea of Soul's Realm from early sea of Soul's Realm. It was all thanks to the Zhen Yuan crystals that Yi Chen had given him. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to reach this fast with only top-rank spirit stones. Don't lie to yourself. Of course, how you are right now has nothing to do with me anymore. I just do not want to see you fall further. The pretty girl shook her head. Sister Li, who are these 3 people? The disciples of the school had not gone down the mountain for a long time, so they did not know who they were. So, they could only ask Li Kui, who had seen a lot of things. Li Kui said, "The one in black is the martial genius of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, Yun Xiaoshui. The one in blue is the #1 martial genius of the school, Ling Hui. And that girl is Brother Gao's ex-fiancé, Mo Xiaotang." Then, she pressed her lips together and looked at Gao Jiyuan worriedly. "What? Ling Hui and Yun Xiaoshui?" All of the disciples were shocked. Ling Hui was the #1 martial genius of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, and he had reached half-step king warrior a couple of years ago. He was one of the top 3 half-step king warriors in the school. Although Yun Xiaoshui was not a half-step king warrior, he was still a powerful master level C of Soul's Realm warrior. In other words, in the whole school, besides the great Master Lu, no one would be able to compete with Ling Hui and Yun Xiaoshui. I heard from Xiaotang that you are very talented. You had already learned the sword intent when you were only 16, and it was a special kind of sword intent. I think it is just SOSO. Yun Xiaoshui, who was in black, purposely hugged Mo Xiaotang as he looked at Gao Jiyuan sarcastically. Gao Jiyuan's face twitched, but soon, he calmed down again. The past was over, and Mo Xiaotang had already cancelled the engagement with him. There was no longer any relationship between them, and he had already decided to give up on her. Taking a deep breath, he said lightly, "Power is not something that can be seen." "Oh, it seems like you are very confident in yourself." Yun Xiaoshui cracked a smile, looking a bit evil. Although he was walking with Mo Xiaotang, he could tell that she had not forgotten about Gao Jiyuan, which annoyed him a lot. This time, it was his idea to come to the school. He wanted to beat Gao Jiyuan up in front of Mo Xiaotang and let her know who the real martial genius was. Chapter 832. Within the conference hall, the great elder of the inner sect asked Li Zhongfeng worriedly, "Master, should we head over to stop them?" Li Zhongfeng said, "This is a matter between the younger generation. Don't go and cause trouble for now. If we go, it won't be easy to resolve. Actually, it would be useless for them to go, since Ling Hui and Yun Xiaoshui's power was not something they could handle. Of course, if it really came to that, they would have to go even if they did not want to. As the leader of the school, they had to protect the school's dignity. But Jiyuan should not be Yun Xiaoshui's opponent. He had just broken through to the peak of mid-sea of Soul Realm. If they had come a few months later, it would have been great. The head elder did not doubt Jiao Jiyuan's talent at all, but this Yun Xiaoshui was not easy to deal with either. With the gap of one realm, Jiao Jiyuan's chance of winning was not high. We have to believe in Jiyuan. In recent years, he has rarely revealed his strength. Li Zhongfeng had quite a bit of confidence in Jiao Jiyuan. If he could escape from Yun Xiaoshui's hands, it would be the best result. If he could even fight to a draw, then the school would definitely gain a lot of face. On Grand Supreme Elder's mountain peak, Yi Chen asked curiously, why didn't Elder Lu show up? The next moment, Yi Chen came to a realization. Back then, when Master Lu targeted him, it was because he did not hide his cultivation at all, which was why Master Lu could sense it. Right now, Ling Hui did not expose any qi, so naturally, Master Lu would not be able to sense it. Although Master Lu was not in his right mind, he still cared about the school subconsciously. Jiao Jiyuan's qi is not weak at all. Battling with this Yun Xiaoshui, it is not like he has no chance of winning. It all depends on his profound sense. Oh right, he has also learned a special sword intent. I wonder what kind of sword intent it is. As these thoughts flashed through his mind, Yi Chen continued to use his soul power to observe the people on the main peak's plaza. Since you are so confident, how about we spar? Don't worry, I will not kill you. Yun Xiaoshui licked his lips and suggested. Okay, sure. Jiao Jiyuan agreed right away. He was sure that if he didn't agree, the other party would definitely not let the matter rest. Since it was like that, it was better to fight him once. Senior brother Jiao, be careful. Li Kui reminded her from behind. Senior brother Jiao, you must defeat him. Wu Changxing did not have many scruples and directly shouted from the back. I know. Jiao Jiyuan looked very serious and sharp. After reaching peak level mid-sea of Soul's realm, he had experienced the one with the world, and all of his profound had improved. However, Yun Xiaoshui had one more experience, so his profound comprehension might not be weaker than his. Perhaps, it might even be above him. The only advantage he had would be his sword intent, which would give him a sliver of hope. No matter what, he was still a powerful Sea of Soul's realm master-level warrior. Seeing that the two were about to battle, Mo Xiaotang revealed a relieved expression. She took a step back and glanced at Yun Xiaoshui, but she looked at Jiao Jiyuan for a longer time. Jiyuan, I hope you don't blame me. Mo Xiaotang thought. On the plaza, everyone took a few steps back, creating a huge space for the two. Jiao Jiyuan and Yun Xiaoshui stood 100 steps away from each other. Take this. Yun Xiaoshui did not have time to waste with Jiao Jiyuan. He wanted to beat Jiao Jiyuan in the shortest time possible and step on him. His body flashed once, and his body shot out like flowing water. In the middle of his body, he tightened his right fist, which shone with a black halo. The space seemed to be vibrating a little, and with a slight twist, he threw out a punch toward Jiao Jiyuan's head. Earth crack. Clang. The sword was unsheathed. Jiao Jiyuan shouted in a low voice and leaned his body forward. The dark yellow sword in his hand turned into a blazing sword light. The inside of the sword light vibrated violently, giving people a heavy and overbearing impression. Boom. The two wanted to test each other's power, so their first attack was a head-on clash. An explosive-like chi flow spread out with the two as the center. A thick layer of the plaza's ground was shaved off, and cracks spread out like spider webs. In the next second, the two backed out at the same time. Yun Xiaoshui backed out 10 steps while Jiao Jiyuan backed out 7. Senior brother Jiao has the upper hand. The disciples of the Zhongtian martial school yelled out. No, it is Yun Xiaoshui who has the upper hand. A peak-level late astral reaching realm core disciple shook his head, looking serious. Why do you say that? Senior brother Gao had only backed out 7 steps, but Yun Xiaoshui had backed out 10. Judging from the situation, senior brother Gao indeed has the upper hand. But Yun Xiaoshui did not use any martial arts, only normal attacks. With that, everyone understood, and they could not help but worry for Gao Jiyuan. He is indeed at peak level late sea of Soul's realm. Even with my earth profound martial art, I only managed to get a slight upper hand. Gao Jiyuan did not dare to be careless, so he stared at Yun Xiaoshui without blinking. Haha. Just SOSO. Take another attack of mine. Yun Xiaoshui laughed out loud as he jumped toward Gao Jiyuan again. A powerful thunder light gathered on his fist, which was then thrown out like a thunder. So fast. Gao Jiyuan had mastered 2 kinds of profound, one being the earth profound and the other the fire profound. This time, he had performed the fire profound sword art, which was like an exploding flame with an extremely powerful explosive power. It had barely blocked out Yun Xiaoshui's fist. Pap. The thunder light shone brightly, and Gao Jiyuan's whole body was blown away, while Yun Xiaoshui's body only shook a little. Thunder light step. Stepping on the thunder light, Yun Xiaoshui chased after Gao Jiyuan like a lightning bolt. Sky thunder 18 fists. From dozens of steps away, Yun Xiaoshui kept throwing out punches. The fist light was like a rainbow, like the sky thunder. One after another, it was unbelievably fast. After taking on 15 punches, Gao Jiyuan had already puked out blood. Yun Xiaoshui's comprehensive ability was not that much weaker than his, and his cultivation was higher than his as well. Therefore, he was destined to lose. Fall to the ground. The 16th punch was Yun Xiaoshui's expression as he threw out another punch toward Gao Jiyuan's stomach. He was planning to use this punch to ruin Gao Jiyuan, turning him into a piece of trash who could not train anymore. Only then would he be able to make Mo Xiaotang give up on him completely. Yun Xiaoshui, didn't you say that you would not wound him badly? Mo Xiaotang suddenly yelled. Yun Xiaoshui did not care at all, his fist aura was horrifying. Burning flame sword. At that critical moment, Gao Jiyuan performed his most powerful fire and earth profound sword art, blocking out Yun Xiaoshui's attack with one sword attack. Hey! You have blocked it out. But, let's see how you are going to block this one. Yun Xiaoshui's 17th punch was coming, which was even more horrifying than the 16th one. No. Just when Yun Xiaoshui was about to attack Gao Jiyuan, Mo Xiaotang suddenly made her move. She waved her hand and 3 iron pear flowers shot out, covering Yun Xiaoshui in a triangle shape. If Yun Xiaoshui continued to attack Gao Jiyuan without caring about anything else, he would be attacked by the flowers as well, which would injure him badly. A sharp light flashed through Ling Hui's eyes. An ear-piercing sound came from his back, and Yun Xiaoshui's expression changed drastically. His body flashed once, dodging the incoming attack. Of course, he had also lost the chance to attack Gao Jiyuan. Xiaotang, what are you doing? Yun Xiaoshui's face turned green. Mo Xiaotang did not reply. She walked toward Gao Jiyuan with determination and stood in front of him. What are you trying to do? Yun Xiaoshui had a bad feeling. Brother Yun, can't you see it? She is playing with you. Ling Hui suddenly said. Playing with me? Yun Xiaoshui looked at Mo Xiaotang in disbelief as he said with a low voice, Xiaotang, get out of the way. Get out of the way now, and I will pretend that nothing has happened. Don't force me. No. Mo Xiaotang shook her head with determination. Bastard. Head disciple is telling the truth. You have never liked me. You have been lying to me all this time. Seeing that Mo Xiaotang was not going to get out of the way, Yun Xiaoshui yelled. Out of Gao Jiyuan's expectation, Mo Xiaotang actually admitted it. Yun Xiaoshui, I have indeed never liked you, because I only like Jiyuan. Being with you is just to provoke him, to make him leave the school and become stronger. This time, Yun Xiaoshui coming to the school was actually Mo Xiaotang's plan. She had been talking about Gao Jiyuan's talent and comprehensive ability in front of Yun Xiaoshui. She had figured out Yun Xiaoshui's personality and thought that as proud as he would definitely come for Gao Jiyuan. By then, with Yun Xiaoshui's power, he would be able to beat Gao Jiyuan, who would not be able to keep up with his cultivation. Then, he would be able to make Gao Jiyuan wake up and leave the school. Hearing Mo Xiaotang's words, Yun Xiaoshui finally understood. No wonder this woman had approached him on her own accord, but did not get too close to him. It turned out that she had never liked him in the first place, and was only using him to provoke Gao Jiyuan. Xiaotang, you? Gao Jiyuan looked at Mo Xiaotang in shock. Mo Xiaotang looked at Gao Jiyuan softly. Jiyuan, since the first time I saw you when I was 13, I fell in love with you. With each passing year, I fell in love with you more and more. How could I be so cruel and leave you to be with someone else? I did not want to see such a genius like you being dragged down by the school and turned into a mediocre person. You should not live a normal life, you should be able to dominate the world. As for me, I do not care about the fame and glory, I just want to watch you silently. Then why don't you let him beat me completely? Then, I might leave the school and try my best to increase my power. Gao Jiyuan said. Mo Xiaotang forced a smile. I thought I could control my emotions, but I realized that I could not. The moment you were in danger, the only thought in my mind was to stop him at all costs. With Yun Xiaoshui's cruelty, even if he did not kill Gao Jiyuan, he would still be crippled, which was not what Mo Xiaotang wanted to see. She had only hoped that Yun Xiaoshui could beat Gao Jiyuan, not cripple him. So cunning, but so affectionate. Yi Chen, who had seen everything, sighed. Chapter 833. Mo Xiaotang, you bitch. How dare you lie to me? Do you know what kind of price you will have to pay for lying to me? Yun Xiaoshui was furious to the extreme. Growing up, he had always been the center of attention. Even when he was in the extreme heaven martial school, even with Ling Huyi's support, he was still favored. In his opinion, the reason why Mo Xiaotang was nice to him was because he was good enough. But today, what she had said had undoubtedly humiliated him. He swore that he would destroy this woman. Yun Xiaoshui, if you have any problems, come at me. Gao Jiyuan could feel Yun Xiaoshui's anger and killing intent, so he stood out. Do not worry. I will beat you into a cripple and make you a useless person for the rest of your life. As he spoke, Yun Xiaoshui's Zhen Yuan had been pushed to its limit. That black demonic Zhen Yuan shot up into the sky, looking extremely powerful. This is the Zhongtian martial school. Do not be presumptuous. Li Zhongfeng and the other masters walked out. Yun Xiaoshui wanted to cripple Gao Jiyuan, so they could not just sit and watch. Otherwise, there would be no need for the Zhongtian martial school to exist anymore. Presumptuous? So what? Ling Hui sneered as his sharp eyes landed on Li Zhongfeng. Ling Hui, did you forget about that master's order? No one is allowed to attack the school. Are you trying to go against the order? Ling Hui said, I knew you would bring him out. Unfortunately, my brother disciple is only here to compete, so it is not like he is going against the order. But of course, swords do not have eyes. If there are some injuries, it would be a different story. I hope you guys do not interfere. Otherwise, I would not mind teaching you a lesson. Hearing Ling Hui, Li Zhongfeng and the rest of them looked extremely pale. Master Tai, please go and ask Master Lu. Master Xiao, please go and ask Master Yi. Li Zhongfeng knew that he was not Ling Hui's opponent, who was extremely talented and had reached the top-rank half-step king warrior realm. In his opinion, Yi Chen might be able to compete with Ling Hui, but in order to suppress him, he would need Master Lu's help. Do not go and ask me. I have already understood the situation here. Wrapped in true Yuan, Yi Chen's voice turned into a line that entered Li Chongfeng's ears. Then, Yi Chen said, Gao Jiyuan is about to make a breakthrough. If he manages to reach Late Sea of Soul's realm, he might be able to take on Yun Xiaoshui. So, do not do anything reckless for now. Jiyuan is facing a breakthrough. Li Zhongfeng looked at Gao Jiyuan in surprise and said to the two elders beside him, wait. Right then, Gao Jiyuan's Zhen Yuan was boiling, exploding with an aura that was way beyond the peak level of mid-sea of Soul's realm. Moreover, this aura kept on increasing, seeming to have no limit. Under this aura, Gao Jiyuan's eyes were getting brighter and brighter, like two bright lamps shooting out a bright light. Gao Jiyuan's training talent was not weaker than Yun Xiaoshui's at all. The reason why he was increasing his cultivation so slowly was because of the lack of resources in the school. Not only did they lack spirit stones, but they also lacked other resources that could help with training. In this situation, it was naturally impossible for him to be like Yun Xiaoshui, who had already reached peak level late sea of Soul's realm. However, after Yi Chen came, the situation had changed. The school had not only solved the problem of spirit stones temporarily, but Gao Jiyuan had also gotten 10 Jinyuan crystals. Using 3 of them, he had increased his cultivation from peak level early sea of Soul's realm to peak level mid sea of Soul's realm. Unfortunately, there was still not enough time for him to do it, since it would not be easy for him to keep on making breakthroughs. Life was always full of drama, and Mo Xiaotang had always been a thorn in Gao Jiyuan's heart. It was impossible for him to forget her just like that. Even if he said that he had forgotten about her, the heartache that flashed through his mind in the middle of the night would be something that no one could understand. After Mo Xiaotang had confessed, Gao Jiyuan's mental state had been completely cleared up. No matter if he was training the demon arts or the righteous arts, as long as he had a clear mental state, he would be able to reach a higher level. There was no such thing as good people getting rewarded and bad people getting struck by lightning. With his mental state cleared up, Gao Jiyuan was full of energy. His condition had never been better. The invisible bottleneck in front of him had loosened up right then, melting like snow in spring. Right then, the potential that Gao Jiyuan had burst out was even more powerful than before. You want to break through? Dream on. Yun Xiaoshui suddenly threw out a punch toward Gao Jiyuan. Despicable. The disciples of the school yelled, but they could not stop it in time. Yun Xiaoshui, don't you feel ashamed? Mo Xiaotang pushed her hands forward, and countless iron pear flowers shot out from her sleeves. The densely packed flowers shot out, and the sound of xiu 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 could be heard continuously. You are looking for death. Yun Xiaoshui could not bear to see Mo Xiaotang protecting Gao Jiyuan the most, so he threw out a fist power that was covered in dark thunder. Pear flower shield. Mo Xiaotang did not back out even half a step. She drew half a circle with her left and right hands before touching them together. All of a sudden, a massive Jinyuan pear flower wrapped around her body. This Jinyuan pear flower obviously contained a huge amount of wood profound and a trace of water profound. Boom! The Jinyuan pear flower was shattered, and Mo Xiaotang puked out a mouthful of blood. Her cultivation was only at late sea of Soul's realm, which was a couple of times weaker than Yun Xiaoshui. Her profound was not as deep as his as well, so it was natural that she would not be able to block out that angry attack. It was already quite impressive that she was able to stand it. Do you really think that I would not dare to kill you? Yun Xiaoshui was furious. Mo Xiaotang had challenged his bottom line again and again, which made him want to kill her. Xiaotang, let me do it. Right then, the qi on Gao Jiyuan's body calmed down and stopped rising. His Jinyuan vibration was at late sea of Soul's realm. Even if you have made a breakthrough, so what? The result will not change. Although Yun Xiaoshui did not want to see Gao Jiyuan reach the late sea of Soul's realm, he would not be worried if he did. In his opinion, Gao Jiyuan's Jinyuan would not be that stable when he had just made a breakthrough, and the state of being one with the world would not be over yet. So, his power would not increase too much. Just like Yun Xiaoshui had said, Gao Jiyuan's Jinyuan had indeed not stabilized yet. But, just then, his fire profound had broken through a bottleneck. It was mainly because his fire profound had already been on the verge of a breakthrough before, and this time, it would not take him much time to comprehend it. You be careful. Mo Xiaotang reminded him. I will. Gao Jiyuan gave Mo Xiaotang a smile before staring at Yun Xiaoshui. Backing out into the crowd, Mo Xiaotang looked at the two and frowned slightly. Yun Xiaoshui attacked first. It was the Sky Thunder 18 fist art that had blown Gao Jiyuan away before. Countless thunder and lightning fist shadows flashed through the air. Lifting up his sword, Gao Jiyuan broke 16 fist arts in a row. 17th fist art. Yun Xiaoshui roared as his thunder fist shadow turned into a thunder dragon, attacking toward Gao Jiyuan with its claws and fangs. It was as fast as lightning. Burning flame sword. Jiao Jiyuan jumped into the air and threw out a sword attack. Swoosh! The thunder dragon's head was cut off, but the sword chi did not disappear completely as it attacked toward Yun Xiaoshui's chest. What kind of sword chi is this? Yun Xiaoshui did not manage to throw out his 18th fist art before he was forced to back out. Jiao Jiyuan's fire sword chi was way tougher than he had expected. It was hard to destroy. Not only had it broken through his 17th fist art, but the remaining sword chi still had more than half of its original power. It is indeed the immortal sword intent. No one knew when, but Yi Chen was standing on top of the palace. But no one there could see him, since he had perfectly blended into the shadows of the roof. Without careful observation, even half-step king warriors would not be able to see him. It was indeed the uniqueness of the shadow profound. Just like Yi Chen, Jiao Jiyuan had also learned the immortal sword intent. But of course, he would not be able to compete with Yi Chen, since Yi Chen had also learned the destruction sword intent, as well as the slaughter sword intent that had been infused into it. But no matter what, the power of the immortal sword intent was still not something normal sword intent could compare with. It was an extremely powerful sword intent that could be used both offensively and defensively. Dark Light Thunder Dragon Fist. The Sky Thunder 18 fist art needed time to store up power. Without that, the 18th fist art would not be as powerful as the 17th one. Therefore, Yun Xiaoshui changed his martial art immediately and threw out a fist art that contained the water profound and thunder profound. Pooh! The fire sword chi was extinguished, and the thick water chi attacked toward Jiao Jiyuan's face. Strings of thunder and lightning followed the path of the water chi and landed on Jiao Jiyuan's body first, making all of his hair stand up. His body was paralyzed, and he could not use any of his power anymore. At the same time, a huge black lightning dragon roared and charged at Jiao Jiyuan. Break! Jiao Jiyuan's body was burnt black, and a huge amount of blood leaked out of the corner of his mouth. Under Yun Xiaoshui's shocked gaze, he tore apart the dark thunder dragon and flew over at an extreme speed. Impossible! How can he still have battling power? Yun Xiaoshui was shocked, and his reaction slowed down a bit. Only Yi Chen and Ling Huyi could tell that Jiao Jiyuan had forcefully pushed his Jin Yuan at that critical moment, not caring about the side effects, and forcefully shattered Yun Xiaoshui's ace attack. Of course, he had paid a huge price as well. His meridians were almost all broken, and his Jin Yuan was messed up. Right then, he was only holding on with his last breath to attack Yun Xiaoshui. Brother Yun, what are you doing? Ling Huyi could not just watch Jiao Jiyuan beat Yun Xiaoshui. Although he was reminding Yun Xiaoshui, he was actually using his sound wave to attack Jiao Jiyuan secretly. Although the sound wave from a half-step king warrior would not be able to kill a late Sea of Souls realm warrior, it would definitely affect him. Jiao Jiyuan was not going to be affected like that. Pooh! Puking out a mouthful of blood, a determined look flashed through Jiao Jiyuan's eyes. He used his last bit of power and threw out a sword attack toward Yun Xiaoshui. You are looking for death. Ling Huyi was furious as he flicked out his finger. Pop! Unfortunately, Ling Huyi's finger power did not work. A thin sword chi broke through his finger power. Without being stopped, Jiao Jiyuan's last sword attack naturally landed on Yun Xiaoshui's body, blowing him away. He puked out a huge amount of blood while his body was covered in flames. Who are you? Get the fuck down! Ling Huyi yelled at the top of the palace. His half-step king warrior aura shot out into the sky, changing the weather above the mountains. Chapter 834. Since it is a battle between your brother disciple and our Zhongtian Martial School's disciple, why are you interfering? On top of the palace, a shadow moved and turned into a young man in blue robes. It was indeed Yi Chen. He sneered as his body flashed and appeared in the middle of the plaza. It is Master Yi. Master Yi is here. The Zhongtian Martial School's disciples let out a breath of relief. Ling Huyi had given them too much pressure. No one knew how powerful a genius half-step king warrior could be. Only other half-step king warriors of the same level would be able to fight against him. Without a doubt, Yi Chen was at the same level as Ling Huyi. Who are you? I have never heard of you before. Is there a second half-step king warrior in the school? Ling Hui saw that Yi Chen was even younger than him, so he controlled his killing intent and asked coldly, I am sorry, but I am the new great master of the school. Yi Chen could sense that Ling Hui's cultivation was the same as his, both high-rank half-step king warriors. But judging from his aura, he seemed to be even more powerful than the Darklight King. Great master of the school? Ling Hui frowned. Where did the school find such a young half-step king warrior? Was it a secret training? Impossible. Even if it was, he would not be able to escape the surveillance of the top 3 martial schools. Then, there would only be one explanation. This person had come to the school from somewhere else, so he should have some kind of connection with the school. Perhaps they did not tell you about the school's situation. I advise you to leave the school immediately. Otherwise, you will regret coming here. Ling Hui was not in a hurry to attack. Yi Chen's cultivation was the same as his, so it would not be easy for him to beat him. I naturally know about the school's situation. But, since I have become the great master of the school, I will not allow outsiders to humiliate it. It does not matter if it is the Extreme Heaven Martial School, the Bald Eagle Valley, or the Earth Bear family, none of them will do it. Hearing him, Ling Hui laughed out of extreme anger. He had already given a lot of face to Yi Chen, but he did not expect the latter to not only ignore him, but also look down on the top 3 martial schools. It seems like you will not give up until you are in your grave. Ling Hui squinted his eyes as his killing intent spread out. Bastard from the Extreme Heaven sect, take this. All of a sudden, a stream of sword chi swept over from the side of the mountain, where Master Lu and Yi Chen lived. One on the left and the other on the right, guarding the main peak of the school. It was Elder Lu who had unleashed the sword chi. Although Master Lu had lost his mind and could not tell who was who, he was very familiar with the demi-king chi of the 3 martial schools. The Extreme Heaven Martial School was a demonic martial school, and the Extreme Heaven Demon Art was their most powerful martial art. Ling Hui had trained this martial art, so he was naturally marked with the symbol of the Extreme Heaven Martial School. Therefore, once Master Lu sensed that chi, he immediately yelled out and threw out a powerful sword attack. Courting death. Ling Hui clenched his right fist and punched forward. Puff. The sword chi that Master Lu had thrown out was shattered by the fist power and disappeared in the wind. However, the remaining power of the fist power still clashed onto Master Lu's protective Jin Yuan layer, blowing him backward. Ling Hui still wanted to attack and wound Master Lu badly, but Yi Chen had already taken out his sword. Once it was out of the scabbard, that sharp sword intent attacked toward Ling Hui like a destructive tornado. It made it impossible for him to focus on dealing with Master Lu at all. He had a feeling that if he was even a little bit careless, he would pay for it immediately. Destruction sword intent. No wonder you are so arrogant. Ling Hui's eyes froze. Gao Jiyuan having the immortal sword intent was already out of his expectation, but he did not care about it at all. However, Yi Chen's destruction sword intent was definitely not something that Gao Jiyuan could compete with. It might have already reached the peak of rank 4, or even rank 5. Moreover, in terms of attacking power, the destruction sword intent was better than the immortal sword intent. But, having a high sword intent does not mean that one's power is high as well. Demon Wind God Fist. Stepping out with his right foot, Ling Hui's right arm turned into countless afterimages. That dark black fist wind attacked toward Yi Chen. That fist wind contained the wind profound and the dark profound. It was like a dark tornado, attacking toward Yi Chen with a shocking aura. Back out. With the evil shattering sword in his hand, Yi Chen waved it up. That crescent-like black sword power tore apart the black fist wind and went against the flow. Not good. Yi Chen's sword attack was way too powerful. Ling Hui had a feeling that his protective Jin Yuan would not be able to block out that sword power at all. Shoo! A black shadow flashed once, and Ling Hui flew into the sky. After losing its target, the black sword power shot out in a straight line for a long time before disappearing. Demon Wind Heaven Cry. Ling Hui was about to perform the last movement of his Demon Wind God Fist art. But, before he could finish, Yi Chen had already appeared in front of him. It was like he had teleported. Without a choice, Ling Huyi threw out a punch onto Yi Chen's evil shattering sword. His whole body was blown into the sky, and he was now only a black dot on the main peak of the school. How come he is so fast? Ling Huyi was shocked. This place should not affect the main peak of the school anymore. In the sky, Yi Chen and Ling Huyi stood facing each other for miles. The evil shattering sword in his hand shone with a sharp sword light. Who the hell are you? The power that Yi Chen had displayed had shocked Ling Huyi. Although he was not one of the life and death realm warriors in the Blood Skylands waiting list, he thought that some of them might not be able to compete with him. He was only born a couple of years later, and had never entered the life and death secret realm before. Who I am is not important. What is important is that you better go back and tell the Extreme Heaven Martial School not to humiliate themselves. Yi Chen said. Arrogant. You really think you can beat me? Ling Huyi yelled as he pushed his Jin Yuan to its limit. The gloves on his hands shone with a powerful halo. These gloves were a pair of pseudo-extreme rank gloves that Ling Huyi had obtained by chance. With these gloves, he dared to take on Yi Chen's attacks head-on. Master Yi had forced back the #1 martial genius of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, Ling Huyi. So powerful. What is this Master Yi's background? Although everyone in the Zhongtian Martial School knew that Yi Chen was related to the Battle King, no one knew about Yi Chen's background. They were very curious about Yi Chen, because with Yi Chen's talent and power, he would not be a nobody in the place he was from. He might be a powerful warrior. On the plaza, Master Lu and Li Zhongfeng stood together. He did not attack Ling Huyi without caring about anything like last time, because the battle between Yi Chen and Ling Huyi was too intense for him to get involved. Although his mind was not clear, he still had his instincts. You guys, take Jiyuan away and let him rest. Li Zhongfeng ordered a couple of attendants to take Gao Jiyuan away as he stared at the sky without blinking. Ling Huyi was not that easy to beat. Right now, they could only rely on Yi Chen. If Yi Chen could not even beat Ling Huyi, then the future of the Zhongtian Martial School would not be any better. Chapter 835. Ting, 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 ting. The bright light kept flashing in the sky as Yi Chen and Ling Huyi started to exchange attacks at an extremely fast speed. Both of them were martial geniuses who had been through hundreds of battles. The intensity of the battle could not be described with just attacking power, but also speed, experience, and their battling talents. Demon Wind Heaven Cry. This time, Ling Huyi successfully performed the last movement of his Demon Wind God Fist art. This movement combined the Wind Profound and the Dark Profound even better. Throwing out a punch, the Dark Tornado made a loud noise, and one could vaguely hear a crying sound, as if even the sky itself was crying. He is indeed more powerful than the Darklight King. The Darklight King was too old, and normally, he would not be able to step into the life and death challenge. But he had. However, judging on power, he was not as powerful as Ling Huyi, and definitely not as powerful as the Thunder Spirit King. Among the top half-step King warriors, the Thunder Spirit King was the most horrifying one that Yi Chen had ever met. Without using his Sky Scorpio sword and the Yuan Emperor's image, Yi Chen did not have the confidence to beat the Thunder Spirit King. Facing Ling Hui's extremely powerful fist attack, Yi Chen did not try to dodge at all. Instead, he threw out an attack with his evil shattering sword, and a beautiful black moon appeared in the midair. Pap! Compared to Yi Chen's waning moon, Ling Hui's Demon Wind Heaven Cry was still a lot weaker. The second the two clashed, the incoming fist wind was sliced open layer by layer. It could not be stopped at all. Ling Huyi was so shocked that he threw out a couple of punches before he could cancel out this sword attack. However, Yi Chen's follow-up attack had arrived. Shoo! A sword light flashed in the midair as Yi Chen suddenly appeared in front of Ling Huyi, stabbing out with his sword. Since the sword speed was way too fast, it did not leave any trace, only leaving a hair-thin sword hole on Ling Hui's protective Jinyuan layer. Clang! Sparks flew out from Ling Hui's chest as his whole body was blown backward for 3 miles, puking out a mouthful of blood mist. What kind of sword speed is this? Ling Huyi felt a chill in his heart. He could barely see Yi Chen's movement pattern, but he could not sense Yi Chen's sword attack pattern at all. In the Blood Skyland, It was not that he had not fought with those top young martial geniuses before. Among the life and death realm warriors, there were one or two of them who had fought with him, but none of them were as fast as Yi Chen. Lowering his head to look at his chest, Ling Hui's pupils shrank. The semi-extreme rank armor that he was wearing had a small hole in it, and it would have been pierced through completely. Hiss. On the main plaza of the Zhongtian Martial School, everyone could not help but gasp. The fact that Yi Chen was able to suppress Ling Hui was already shocking enough. However, compared to that sword attack just now, the waning moon, which had a much more powerful attacking power, had been ignored. For sword users, the speed of the sword attack would be even more shocking. Thinking about it, when two people were battling, one would not even move while the other had already thrown out a sword attack. How horrifying would that be? Master Yi is so powerful. Ling Hui is one of the most famous young martial geniuses in the Blood Skyland, but he could not even get the upper hand. Yeah. That sword attack just now had caught Ling Hui off guard. If only Master Yi could teach us how to throw out sword attacks faster. They naturally could not learn Yi Chen's spiritual sword unless they could learn the fast profound. However, no matter how good the sword art was, it would still require someone to perform it. Besides the sword art, Yi Chen's sword attack skills had indeed reached the peak of perfection. Even life and death realm warriors might not be able to do better than him. Do you still want to fight? Yi Chen did not plan to kill Ling Hui. The Iron Blood region was very complicated, and there was no need to go all out. After all, he could just leave, and the Zhongtian Martial School would still be here. The result has not been decided yet. Don't be too happy yet. Ling Hui's face was extremely pale. Being wounded by someone who was even younger than him had made him lose all his face. At the same time, Yi Chen's power had shocked him deeply. He could not remember if there was someone like Yi Chen in the Blood Skyland or the surrounding ocean. Yi Chen saw that Ling Hui did not plan to back out, so he knew that he still had some tricks up his sleeves. But he was not afraid either, since there were not many people below the life and death realm that could scare him. Perhaps he would run into one or two in the life and death secret realm. The evil shattering sword in Yi Chen's hand could no longer be seen. All that could be seen were countless tiny sword holes appearing in the air. These sword holes were just like the ace attack of the black-robed elder, which was able to leave a mark in the surreal space. The power of the spiritual sword was indeed not as powerful as the waning moon or the bewitching mirror shattering. But in terms of effect, it was not any weaker than the latter two. Once the sword speed reached a certain level, unless one's defense was high enough, it would be impossible to escape. As for leaving a mark in the surreal space, it was because Yi Chen's sword intent was too powerful. The rank 5 destruction sword intent was equivalent to a normal rank 6 sword intent, which could already affect the structure of the space. If it were not for the fact that Yi Chen's Jin Yuan was slightly weaker and could not be used with his sword intent, he would be able to create a mental projection from millions of miles away with only his rank 5 destruction sword intent, which was something only life and death realm warriors could do. No matter how hard Ling Hui tried, he could not escape from Yi Chen's attack. That powerful sword intent was like a soul lock, locking him down. No matter how hard he struggled, he could not escape. He was like a bug in a spider's web, waiting to be slaughtered. Pooh! Countless sword holes appeared on his semi-extreme rank armor as Ling Hui's face turned paler and paler. Blood mist kept puking out of his mouth. Still not leaving. Up until now, Yi Chen had only used 60 to 70% of his power. His opponent's cultivation was the same as his, so it was not worthy for him to use all of his power. All this time, he had been battling across realms. Even if he ran into the top young martial geniuses, it was still the same, not to mention Ling Hui. Shoo! This time, the sword hole looked like it had pierced through the surreal space, drawing a black line in the air. It went through Ling Hui's chest and went through his body. Whoa! The semi-extreme rank armor on Ling Hui's body was almost destroyed. He puked out a huge mouthful of blood, and he could feel that his life force had been taken away by that sword attack. There seemed to be a small sword hole on his spine as well, and that horrifying sword intent was attacking his bones. Yi Chen's power had reached an unimaginable level. Damn! You forced me to do this. Extreme Heaven Demon Body. Ling Hui's protective Zhen Yuan suddenly shrunk, sticking to the surface of his skin. At first glance, his body seemed to have turned into a black metal, which did not look like a human body at all. Heaven Realm Martial Art? Yi Chen frowned. No, it does not seem to be perfect. Heaven Realm martial arts could not be passed down, so one could only learn it on their own. Although, there were some other ways to learn from it. But, the Heaven Realm martial arts that were learned would not be perfect after all. It would not be as good as Yi Chen's Green Lotus sword spell that he had learned on his own, be it the basics or the special abilities. I am going to destroy you. Just as Yi Chen had expected, Ling Hui's extreme heaven demon body was indeed not learned by him. It was a life and death realm martial art created by a life and death realm warrior in the history of the Extreme Heaven Martial School. It was the same extreme heaven demon art, but the heaven realm martial arts would be different. But no matter which one it was, it would be hard to learn from it. Since Ling Hui was able to learn it, it meant that he was very talented. The extreme heaven demon body focused on stimulating the body's activity, increasing the body's reaction speed and other aspects. The Zhen Yuan usage would also reach a limit. It was just like a life and death realm warrior controlling the same amount of Zhen Yuan. Shoo! Ling Hui's speed was a couple of times faster than before. It was even faster than Yi Chen's movement speed. Obviously, this extreme heaven demon body had increased his power tremendously. Demon Wind Heaven Cry. The same movement was performed by Ling Hui right then, and it was even more powerful. Although the level of the profound had not increased, the Zhen Yuan usage had increased drastically. This is indeed a powerful heaven realm martial art. I wonder how the real extreme heaven demon body would compare with the Battle King's platinum sword body. Yi Chen's expression did not change. If he wanted to, he could perform his sword realm right away and kill Ling Hui. Even without the sword realm, his bewitching mirror shatter would be able to wound him severely. However, it was not worth it for him to reveal too many of his trump cards. Break. Holding his sword with both of his hands, Yi Chen performed his sword art ace attack, Waning Moon. This time, it had an intense destruction element, which was the effect of Yi Chen infusing his destruction sword intent into his attack. A black waning moon flashed once in the midair, leaving behind a horrifying mark. Blood splashed everywhere. How did Ling Hui get here, and how did he get back? On his chest, the semi-extreme rank armor had been completely cracked open. A blood-colored sword mark had almost pierced through his chest, and it was indeed where the blood came from. How is this possible? Ling Hui was blown away without any resistance, his face full of disbelief. The extreme heaven demon body was his biggest ace, and it was also what he had relied on to enter the life and death secret realm. It had been broken just like that, and it seemed like it had been done without any effort. How would he know that Yi Chen's power had already reached an unbelievable level? If he wanted to battle with him, if he did not have the upper hand in terms of cultivation, then there would be no chance of winning at all. Other martial geniuses would treat battling beyond their cultivation like eating and drinking, but Yi Chen treated it as the most basic thing. The two were not even on the same level. This is too powerful. Everyone from the Zhongtian martial school had their eyes wide open. They did not have much experience, but they knew that no matter how much Ling Hui had increased his power, he was still like a toy in Yi Chen's hands. They were both martial geniuses, but the gap between them was way too huge. Slowly landing on the main plaza, Yi Chen put his sword back into its scabbard, looking normal. He did not look at Ling Hui, who had been hit by his full power sword attack. Without a couple of months of rest, he would not be able to return to his peak condition. That destruction sword intent alone would be enough to give him a headache. It was a sword intent that could destroy anything, and even life and death realm warriors would not be able to get rid of it. Slowly letting out a breath, Yi Chen looked into the sky. He did not know how much they had grown in this true spirit continent. With Dugu Ju's potential, he should be a couple of times more powerful than Ling Hui, and Dantai Mingyu should be the same as well. And then there was that monster Chu Zhongtian. Yi Chen did not know how the other martial geniuses were, but on this true spirit continent, he valued these three the most. Dugu Ju had the despairing blade intent, and his power was only slightly weaker than Yi Chen's. Dantai Mingyu seemed to have gotten even more benefits from the 4 Extreme Emperor's grave than his Space Profound. Added with the fact that her talent was not weaker than Dugu Ju's, her power was unpredictable. Chu Zhongtian was the worst in terms of comprehensive ability, not even in the top 20. But he had the evil spirit body, which was even more powerful than Yuan Emperor's body. Chapter 836. The wounded Ling Hui and Yun Xiaoshui left the school in a hurry. Mo Xiaotang was a disciple of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, so she followed them. Before she left, she asked someone to tell Jiao Jiuan that she would leave the Extreme Heaven Martial School and join the school. Yi Chen shook his head. He was afraid that he would have to deal with Mo Xiaotang again. Of course, if the Extreme Heaven Martial School could let her go, then it would be even better. After beating Ling Hui, Yi Chen had become a calming pill in everyone's mind. Everyone's depression had disappeared, and their spirits were lifted. In the past few years, the school had been humiliated way too much, and there had never been a day where they could vent their anger like today. Returning to his own mountain, Yi Chen cleared his mind and continued to train his profound and sword arts. Bewitching mirror shattering is already completed, and my waning moon has made some progress as well. Now, I can spend more time on my spiritual sword. Since my fast profound has made progress, my slow profound should follow suit. The waning moon was focused on attacking, while the bewitching mirror shattering was a combination of sealing and attacking. Although the spiritual sword was not as powerful as the other two, it was still quite useful. If he ran into someone with the same power as him, then it might be able to play an important role. Extreme Heaven Martial School. Seeing Ling Hui and Yun Xiaoshui who had returned with severe wounds, the whole school was shocked. From the leader to the great master to the inner and outer disciples, everyone was shocked. Yun Xiaoshui had returned with severe wounds, since he was only at peak level late sea of Soul's realm. But Ling Hui was a real half-step king warrior, and his power had already reached the top half-step king warrior level. Who could wound him badly? Perhaps he had been attacked by a group of half-step king warriors. Inside the main palace of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, the leader and the great master of the Extreme Heaven Martial School did not look good. They had already learned the reason from the two, and they could not believe that there would be a very young half-step king warrior that even Ling Hui would not be able to compete with. You have fought with him before. Do you know what level his power has reached? The great master of the Extreme Heaven Martial School was a grey-haired elder. He had the back of a tiger and the waist of a bear. His eyes were like that of a wolf eagle, very aggressive. He stared at Ling Hui and asked. Although Ling Hui was the head disciple of the Extreme Heaven Martial School, his position was no lower than the highest elder. He was only second to the leader. He had calmed down and said, I have fought with the Sky Tiger Master before. From what I can see, the Tiger Master is no match for him. Even young Master Tiger is no match for him. The leader of the Extreme Heaven Martial School was Ling Hui's second grandpa, named Ling Huho. After hearing Ling Hui's analysis, he frowned. The Sky Tiger Beast Martial School was one of the top 10 Beast Martial Schools in the Blood Skyland, and it was even more powerful than the Iron Foot Beast Martial School in the Iron Blood region. The Tiger Master from the Sky Tiger Beast Martial School was one of the top martial geniuses of the Beast race. He had already reached the peak of the first level of the Life and Death Challenge, and was ranked 15th in the Life and Death Realm substitute list. Ling Hui had fought with him last year, and his protective Jin Yuan layer had been broken by his claw attack. That's impossible. The Tiger Master did not use all of his power when he fought with you. The elder did not want to belittle Ling Hui, but the truth was the truth. Young Tiger Warrior was the descendant of the Sky Tiger race, and the Sky Tiger bloodline was very pure. Although it was not as pure as the Sky Tiger, it was still very scary. Plus, he was at the peak of the first Life and Death Challenge. His power was so scary that even Tu Ling Hui would not be his opponent. Ling Hui nodded. That is why I said that the Tiger Master would at most be on par with him. As a martial genius, Ling Hui had his pride. Losing to Yi Chen was indeed embarrassing for him, but it was not enough for him to deny Yi Chen's power. In his opinion, the Tiger Master might not even be as powerful as Yi Chen. And if he wanted to win against the Tiger Master and Yi Chen, he would have to increase his cultivation to the first level of the life and death challenge. Cough. Ling Hui had been wounded very badly. After he finished talking, he puked out a mouthful of blood. You go and rest first. Ling Huho said with concern. Second uncle, I will go into closed-door training this time, all the way until the life and death secret realm begins. With such a serious injury, normal half-step king warriors would not be able to recover even after a couple of months. But Ling Hui had the support of the whole Extreme Heaven Martial School and enough resources, so he was confident that he could completely recover within a month. In the remaining time, he would try his best to reach the first level of the life and death challenge. He had a feeling that this trip to the life and death secret realm would be the most powerful one he had ever experienced. The mountain peak was verdant and white clouds lingered around it. On the peak of the mountain, a blue figure stood motionless. The sword in his hand kept stabbing out, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Kai 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 kai. The flickering sword mark lingered in the void for a breath of time before disappearing. Not far away, Jiao Jiyuan walked over step by step. Seeing Yi Chen practicing his swordsmanship, he quietly waited at the side with a curious look in his eyes. Leaving a mark in the surreal space. He is not far from breaking the space. Jiao Jiyuan had a new understanding of Yi Chen's power. He was not an ignorant person, so he knew very well how hard it was to leave a mark in the surreal space, which meant that each of Yi Chen's sword attacks had the power to break the space. You are here. Yi Chen put his sword back into its scabbard and turned around. Greetings, Master Yi. Jiao Jiyuan greeted with his hands. Yi Chen waved his hand. You and I are about the same age. No need to be so polite. He studied Jiao Jiyuan. It seems like you have fully recovered, and your cultivation has reached peak level late seas of Soul's Realm as well. You have improved a bit faster than I expected. This is all thanks to Master Yi's healing pellets and Jin Yuan crystals. After the battle with Yun Xiaoshui, Jiao Jiyuan's meridians had almost been broken. Fortunately, Yi Chen did not have much, but he had a lot of rare treasures. He casually took out a couple of them and healed Jiao Jiyuan's wounds completely in a short period of time. His cultivation had also reached peak level late seas of Soul's Realm. I called you here because I want you to tell me about the young generation of the Blood Sky Land. There were still 2 months before the life and death secret realm would open, so Yi Chen needed to know about these people. Jiao Jiyuan knew that the young generation that Yi Chen was talking about were the top martial geniuses below the age of 50, not the geniuses of the same age. After organizing his thoughts, Jiao Jiyuan said, in the Blood Skyland, there are a total of 5 people who have entered the Life and Death Realm substitute list. But that was 9 years ago. Right now, the most famous ones are the 8 Beast Warriors and the 4 Demons. 8 Beast Warriors and 4 Demons. Yi Chen's eyebrows flicked. Jiao Jiyuan said, 8 Beast Warriors, 5 of them are beasts, 3 are demi-beasts, and the 4 demons, 1 is a demi-demon, and 3 humans. Let's talk about the 8 Beast Warriors first. The leader of the 8 Beast Warriors is the Elephant Warrior from the Battle Elephant Martial School, ranked 3rd in the Life and Death Realm substitute list. He has the ancient Battle Elephant bloodline, and his godly power is unrivaled. Only with his physical power, not many people would be able to compete with him. I heard that his power had already reached over £1 million. Over £1 million. Indeed, not to be underestimated. Yi Chen could not help but think of Yang Fengfeng. She was also a beast among the 100 beasts, but her bloodline was the purest, the real Blue Phoenix bloodline. Although some of the other beasts had been passed down from generation to generation, their bloodline power was getting thinner and thinner, and it would be hard for them to have a pure bloodline descendant. It was something that could not be helped. Take the demi-beasts for example. There were hundreds of billions of demi-beasts in the Blood Skyland, but the ones that had formed families were probably not even 1,000th of them. The rest of them had already become normal people with only a trace of demi-beast bloodline, which made them no different from humans. There were very few demi-beast family members in the true spirit continent, but there were at least billions of them. In fact, there was not much difference between demi-beasts and humans anymore. For the most normal demi-beasts, it would not be wrong to call them human. Being able to become the leader of the 8 beast warriors, the ancient battle elephant bloodline must be very close to his ancestors. Plus, Yi Chen knew that the beasts could use their own talents and special methods to go back to their ancestors. Once they succeeded, they would be the one and only member of the 100 beasts, without any other bloodline. The second of the 8 beast warriors is the snake warrior. He is a disciple of the demi-beast family, and his 9-headed snake bloodline has been completely awakened. He is ranked 7th in the life and death realm substitute list. He is the arch-enemy of the elephant warrior, and they have been fighting for decades. There is a 9-headed snake family in the Blood Skyland as well. Yi Chen froze. He had trained 2 members of the 9-headed snake family, Wang Snake and Wang Mai. Wang Snake had also almost awakened his 9-headed snake bloodline, but his cultivation was still a bit lacking. He did not expect that the 9-headed snake family in the True Spirit continent would be destroyed, but there was still another one in the Blood Skyland. This 9-headed snake family might be more than 100 times more powerful than the one in the True Spirit continent, since Wang Snake's family was only a rank 9 family. The third is the Eagle Warrior. He did not enter the Life and Death Realm substitute list, and is a beast genius who has appeared in the recent years. The fourth is the Tiger Warrior, ranked 23rd in the Life and Death Realm substitute list. He is a beast genius from the Sky Tiger Martial School. The remaining 4 beast warriors are not ranked in any particular order. They are the Shark Warrior, the Leopard Lady, the Wolf Warrior, and the Butterfly Lady. The first 2 are beasts, while the latter 2 are demi-beasts. They are all very powerful, just like the Eagle Warrior. They are all martial geniuses who have appeared in the recent years. Hearing him, Yi Chen nodded. The previous generation of young martial geniuses in the Blood Skyland should be the 5 who had entered the Life and Death Realm substitute list. The remaining 7 had appeared in the recent years, just like his generation in the True Spirit continent. Master Yi, I cannot tell your power at all. But in my opinion, among the 8 beast warriors, only the Elephant Warrior and the Snake Warrior are worthy of your attention. The rest should not be your opponent. Ling Hu Yi was one of the 4 demons, which were just as famous as the 8 beast warriors. If even Ling Hu Yi was not an opponent for Yi Chen, then it was not hard to imagine that among the 8 beast warriors and the 4 demons, there would not be many who could compete with Yi Chen. With that thought in mind, Jiao Jiyuan was very curious about Yi Chen's identity. Yi Chen looked very young, definitely not more than 30 years old. But his power was unpredictable. With a bold guess, Yi Chen might be one of the top martial geniuses in the True Spirit continent. Chapter 837. What about the 4 demons? Yi Chen asked. Jiao Jiyuan replied, among the 4 demons, young Undying Demon Lord is the strongest. He is the head disciple of the Undying Demon sect, and he cultivates the 9 Revolution Undying Demon art. I heard that 3 years ago, he had already advanced it to a heaven-grade art, possessing the most basic undying body. His cultivation base is also frightening, already at the 3rd layer of Life and Death Chamber. His ranking is a bit lower than young Elephant Lord's, and he is ranked 5th on the Life and Death substitute list. 9 Revolution Undying Demon art? The most basic undying body? Yi Chen's face revealed a pensive expression. If his guess was correct, the 9 Revolution Undying Demon art should be a secret art similar to the undying body. After advancing to heaven grade, its special ability would be the undying body. He didn't expect this kind of art to exist. Moreover, this young Undying Demon Lord was just like him, able to advance his art to heaven grade before entering Life and Death Realm. This kind of talent and ability was rare in the present age. In that case, this young Undying Demon Lord, young Elephant Lord, and young Snake Lord are young geniuses at the same level. Among them, young Elephant Lord is the strongest. Yi Chen casually said. Jiao Jiyuan shook his head, you can't say that. The Life and Death substitute list changes every 10 years. Being weak at that time might not necessarily be the case now. Young Elephant Lord's divine strength is unparalleled, and nobody can fight him head-on. However, young Undying Demon Lord is an exception. He's the only one who can exchange 100 moves with young Elephant Lord. Right, in these 10 years, has no one on the life and death substitute list entered life and death realm and became kings? Yi Chen suddenly asked. Gao Jiuan explained, yes. Currently, there are only 32 people on the life and death substitute list. The other 4 have all become life and death kings. Young Elephant Lord was originally ranked 5th, but because the first and second 2 have both become life and death kings, he was able to move up 2 places to 3rd. So that's how it is. Yi Chen faintly nodded. Whoever became a life and death king would be automatically removed from the life and death substitute list, replaced by the people below. The second of the 4 demons is Tai Quangzuan of the demonic human race. Although Tai Quangzuan doesn't have the perfect demonic human bloodline, he has mastered the ability to completely transform into a demon without losing his mind. He is arrogant and wild, temperamental, and should be affected by the demon transformation. Tai Quangzuan is ranked 22 in the life and death realm, 1 rank higher than young Tiger Lord. The 3rd place is Blade Demon Girl Lan Sanmai. She is the head disciple of the Demon Blade Martial School and one of the brightest rising stars of the Blood Skyland in the past decade. Together with Young Eagle Master, one of the 8 Young Beast Masters, they are known as the twin stars of the Beast and Demon. Their potential is at least in the top 3. The 4th is Ling Hui from the Extreme Heaven Martial School. The 8 Young Beast Masters and the 4 demons are all from rank 5 martial schools or clans. Only Ling Hui is not from a rank 5 martial school. Therefore, he is very famous and no one dares to look down on him. Because of him, the Extreme Heaven Martial School is known as the top rank 6 martial school in the Blood Skyland. Gao Jiuan said tirelessly. Indeed. Yi Chen smiled lightly. With Blade Demon Girl Lan Sanmei's cultivation and power, it would be impossible for her not to be one of the 4 demons. Moreover, from what Gao Jiuan said, she and Young Eagle Master were the brightest martial geniuses in the Blood Skyland. Although Young Elephant Master, Young Snake Master, and the others were powerful, their comprehensive ability might not be as good as hers. As for Ling Hui, he naturally could not be underestimated either. According to his life force, he should be in his 30s, which was a bit younger than Bai Wuxue and the others. However, his cultivation was very powerful, having already reached high-rank half-step king warrior realm. If he were to be brought to this true spirit continent, he would definitely be one of the top warriors. What made Yi Chen let out a breath was that the Extreme Heaven Martial School did not make things difficult for Mo Xiaotang, allowing her to leave and join the Zhongtian Martial School. Thinking about it, the Extreme Heaven Martial School should have heard from Ling Hui that Yi Chen's power was not something they could compete with. Instead of fighting to the death, it would be better to wait and see. However, Yi Chen also knew that Gao Jiuan had a headache. Mo Xiaotang was his fiancée, and the two had a very deep relationship. Li Kui, the female disciple of Zhongtian Martial School, was also deeply in love with Gao Jiuan. So, it was not necessarily that Gao Jiuan did not have any feelings for him. After chatting for half an hour, Yi Chen had more or less understood what he wanted to know. Taking out a deep purple great sword from his storage ring, Yi Chen threw it to Gao Jiuan. You are the head disciple of Zhongtian Martial School. You can't not have a good great sword. This sword is for you. Gao Jiuan took a look and said in shock, Semi-extreme grade great sword. Semi-extreme grade great swords were not cabbages. Normally, only half-step king warriors could have them. As the saying went, seeking wealth amidst danger was precisely this principle. You can go back first. Yi Chen did not care much about a semi-extreme grade great sword. From the Sky Scorpio King's sword tomb, he had obtained a lot of good swords, and this was only one of them. Moreover, as far as he was concerned, semi-extreme grade treasures were not that rare anymore. The rich became richer, and the poor became poorer. This could also be seen among martial artists. Another half a month passed by, and only 1.5 months remained before the opening of the secret realm. During this time, Yi Chen's spiritual sword had finally made a breakthrough. Its might and sword speed had reached a whole new level, and his fast profound had also reached 60% completion. Unfortunately, his slow profound didn't make much progress. It would probably only increase by 10% after his fast profound reached 70% completion. The spiritual sword, which contained 60% fast profound and 60% wood profound, created a subtle balance. The sword's speed and might simply exploded. In Yi Chen's opinion, the two profounds were at the same level in terms of fused profounds. It seemed to have an effect that couldn't be ignored. Waning Moon contains 90% metal profound and 60% water profound. The gap between the two profounds is too big. Balancing them is too hard. Forget it, I'll pay more attention to water profound in the future. I'll let metal profound take its course. Chaotic Demon Region, Demonic Blade Sect, on Demon Girl Peak, Senior Sister, please advise me. A male disciple of Demonic Blade Sect stared at Lan Sanmai as he pointed the blade in his hand toward the ground. Come. Lan Sanmai didn't even draw his blade as he spoke indifferently. Senior Sister, be careful. Ha. This male disciple's cultivation base was not low, having already reached the peak of Late Sea of Soul Realm. Of course, compared to Lan Sanmai, he was far inferior. One was like the sky and the other the earth. However, the two didn't use Jin Yuan or will in their exchange, only relying on their physical strength. With a wave of his blade, the blade in the male disciple's hand trembled and turned blurry. It was Demonic Blade Sect's unique blade technique. Still not perfect enough. Too many openings. Lan Sanmei's right palm turned into a blade and slashed out. Clang. The blade in the male disciple's hand flew out, stabbing into the ground at an angle. All of you, come together. Lan Sanmai looked at the 8 spectating disciples. The 8 disciples didn't decline. Senior Sister Lan Sanmai didn't only have high cultivation base. Without using Jin Yuan and will, no one under Demonic Blade Sect's life and death realm could be her opponent. If she went all out, there would be no point in fighting. Clang 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 clang, 8 blades flew out, but Lan Sanmai remained unscathed. My demonic blade arts have already reached greater completion. Seems like you've gained a lot this time. On a mountain peak shrouded in dark clouds, a tall old man revealed a faint smile. He shouldn't be afraid of demonic blade arts, right? The scene of Yi Chen chopping off the head of the 50 bandits' third head, Xie, appeared in Lan Sanmei's mind. That sword strike was extremely fast, without any fancy moves. Mud Dragon Mountain was a small mountain 800 li away from Eternal Sky Sect. It was very ordinary, and one could tell from its name. Elder, there really is a high-grade mid-grade spirit vein under this mountain. A simple and honest middle-aged man said to the old man in front of him. The old man said with a face full of smiles, "Indeed, I've already probed it. Haha, seems like the heavens are protecting my Eternal Sky Sect." Eternal Sky Sect was extremely lacking in resources. If they could obtain a high-grade mid-grade spirit vein, it would certainly be able to sustain their development for decades. When more disciples joined, they wouldn't have to worry about spirit stones anymore. On the same day, the two sent the news back. After Li Zhongfeng heard the news, he was both happy and worried. The Mud Dragon Mountain was in the Eternal Sky Sect's territory. Normally, it should belong to the sect. However, once the news was leaked out, Eternal Sky Sect might not be able to keep this spirit vein anymore. The 3 top sects had been eyeing Eternal Sky Sect for quite some time now. Send the message down to excavate the spirit vein as much as possible. The spirit stones that are excavated are to be sent back once a day. For the Eternal Sky Sect, only the spirit stones that they obtained belonged to them. Unfortunately, there was no such thing as an impenetrable wall in the world. The news of the Mud Dragon Mountain finding a high-grade mid-grade spirit vein was still known by the 3 top sects. It was not because someone leaked the news, but because the 3 top sects had too many people monitoring Eternal Sky Sect. As long as there was a trace, it would not be able to escape their eyes. People of Eternal Sky Sect, get out of this area, otherwise, I will kill you all. In the air above the Mud Dragon Mountain, 3 groups of people appeared. One group of people were wearing black and white long robes with a fierce vulture sewn on the back. They were from the Vulture Valley. Another group of people were tall, with a huge bear head sewn on the chest area. They were from the Earth Bear family. The last group was from the Extreme Heaven Martial School. The one with the arrogant tone was the leader of the Earth Bear family. The Earth Bear family had always been hot-tempered, and they often killed people. The Great Master of Eternal Sky Sect, Master Lu, was beaten by a half-step beast king from the Earth Bear family until he lost his mind. Everyone, this is our Eternal Sky Sect's territory. What you are doing is breaking the rules. An elder of the school stood out. They had only excavated this high-grade mid-grade spirit vein for a couple of days, and they had not even found 1/1000th of it. How could they let it go? Rules. Our Earth Bear family is the rules. Pooh. The leader of the Earth Bear family threw out a palm attack, turning the elder into a blood mist. Master Lin. Everyone from the Eternal Sky Sect looked at him with their teeth clenched. Bastard. Die. The mud dragon mountain suddenly cracked open, and Master Lu flew out, throwing out a sword attack at the leader of the Earth Bear family. Boom. This sword didn't work. From the Earth Bear family, a ferocious old man with the back of a tiger and the waist of a bear walked out. He smashed the sword chi with one punch and grinned. Lu Yuming, looks like I didn't let you suffer enough last time. This time, I'll let you be even more stupid. It's you. Master Lu's eyes turned red. It was true that he had lost his mind, but this person had left a deep impression on him. 6 half-step king warriors. I wonder if that genius half-step king warrior will act like a coward. Among the Extreme Heaven Martial School's people, the great master of the Extreme Heaven Martial School who was hiding in the crowd sneered. Ling Huho said, fighting against 6 half-step king warriors with his own power. He is destined to fail. No one can save the Eternal Sky Sect. Chapter 838. He allowed Mo Xiaotang to leave the Extreme Heaven Martial School and join the Zhongqian Martial School because he wanted to prevent the Extreme Heaven Martial School from facing Yi Chen alone. Although the top 3 martial schools were against the Zhongqian Martial School, they were not on good terms with each other. On the contrary, the competition between the top 3 martial schools had never stopped. If the Extreme Heaven Martial School wanted to protect themselves, they would have to be patient and not let their emotions affect them. As for right now, with the 3 martial schools working together, Yi Chen would not be able to do anything. Raw. Lu Yuming looked crazy as he attacked the elder without caring about anything else. Every sword attack was a killing attack that would injure both of them. Huh. You are looking for death. The shadow of the Earth Bear behind the fierce-looking old man was as huge as a mountain. Rings of thick earthy yellow waves spread out, making the air incomparably heavy. Boom. A fist attack was thrown out, twisting the space. This fist attack seemed to contain the power of a huge mountain. Pooh. Lu Yoming's method of mutual destruction had only left an indistinct sword mark on the old man's chest, while he himself had been sent flying backwards, spitting out a mouthful of blood. You are overestimating yourself. You were not my opponent when you were at your peak. Now that you have lost your mind, you are definitely not my opponent. The elder sneered with disdain. The life and death secret realm is about to open. It is time to finish this once and for all. Half-step king warriors were very sensitive to Yuan Qi vibrations. Although they were 800 miles away, Yi Chen could still sense the battle on the Mud Dragon Mountain. He stood up and his body flashed, disappearing from the Great Master Palace. 800 miles was only a couple of breaths' time for Yi Chen. From far away, Yi Chen could see the Mud Dragon Mountain and the 3 groups of people flying in the sky. They were naturally the Bald Eagle Valley, the Earth Bear family, and the Extreme Heaven Martial School. And that elder with the Earth Bear shadow behind him should be the half-step demi-beast king of the Earth Bear family. Lu Yuming puked out a mouthful of blood and was blown away. Everyone from the Zhongqian Martial School was panicking. Seeing Yi Chen coming, they all yelled out happily. Master Yi is here. With Master Yi here, they would not dare to take the spirit fountain by force. Yes, it is naturally impossible for Zhongqian School to monopolize the spirit vein. But as long as they can get a quarter of it, it would be enough for them to develop for 10 years. Everyone from the Zhongqian Martial School naturally did not think that Yi Chen alone would be able to scare away all the people from the top 3 martial institutions. But, with Yi Chen and Master Lu, they would have the capital to negotiate. They would no longer be like fish on a chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. After all, Yi Chen's power was not something normal half-step king warriors could compete with. You are the new half-step king warrior of Eternal Sky School? You look quite young. The evil elder was one of the 2 half-step demi-beast kings of the Earth Bear family, and was called the Barbaric Bear King. Ling Hui had left the Zhongtian martial school with severe injuries, so he naturally could not escape from the eyes of the Earth Bear family. However, he thought that Ling Hui was injured by Lu Yuming and Yi Chen. I'll give you a choice. Immediately take your people and leave the Zhongtian martial school's territory. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences. As for him, he will die. Yi Chen did not pull out his sword, but pointed his finger at that small leader of the Earth Bear family, who had killed an elder of the Zhongtian school. Pooh! Without much effort, a finger hole appeared on the other party's forehead, and he fell to the ground on his back. Whoa! The top 3 martial institutions looked at each other. This guy was indeed crazy. He had killed a powerful warrior of the Earth Bear family right from the start. He did not take them seriously at all. Little bastard, you are looking for death. The savage Bear King was furious. The Earth Bear shadow behind his back shook violently, and a thick brown-colored wave spread out towards Yi Chen. Meanwhile, he himself bent his body and threw out a punch, throwing out a thunderous punch towards Yi Chen's head. If this punch landed, no matter how big a mountain was, it would still be shattered. Putting up his right hand's index and middle fingers, Yi Chen sneered as he sliced out with his fingertip. Boom! The surreal space seemed to have been sliced in half. That black curved sword light sliced open the fist power of the Barbaric Bear King and went through his body. With a clanging sound, a crack appeared on the Barbarian Bear King's armor. He felt an incredibly powerful sword chi pass through the armor and into his body, cutting away at his life force. His internal organs were instantly covered in wounds that could not be ignored. One finger attack and he was blown back while puking out blood. What? The Barbaric Bear King was wounded by one finger attack? This scene had caused a lot of people to open their mouths wide, unable to close them. Although the Barbaric Bear King had not reached the life and death challenge realm yet, as a demi-beast with the bloodline of the Earth Bear, he was way more powerful than the human demi-king warriors. Yi Chen was able to wound the Barbaric Bear King with one finger attack without using any weapon. How could people not be shocked? Earth Prison. After the Barbaric Bear King was wounded, the other demi-beast king from the Earth Bear family stood out. He formed a spell with both of his hands, and an endless amount of Earth Yuan Qi gathered toward Yi Chen, instantly forming a square yellow cube, trapping him inside. The Spirit Bear King has made his move. It should be able to trap him for a while. The Spirit Bear King's follow-up attacks are the more powerful ones. As everyone was discussing, the Spirit Bear King grinned as he waved his right hand up and yelled, "Mountain Flipping Stamp." Amidst the shocking Earth Yuan Qi vibration, a huge yellow mountain fell down from the sky like a shooting star, landing on that yellow cube. With that attack, even if it were an Iron Man, he would be badly wounded. Unfortunately, it all depended on who the opponent was. A pitch-black sword mark appeared on the surface of the yellow cube, and a huge amount of sword light shone out of it like a semicircle. The huge yellow mountain and the Spirit Bear King were both within the attacking range of the semicircle. The sword light flashed once, followed by 2 shoe sounds. The huge yellow mountain cracked open first before disappearing completely. Then, the Spirit Bear King followed in the footsteps of the Barbaric Bear King, puking out blood as he was blown away. How? How could he be this powerful? The Spirit Bear King could not believe it. Master Yi is so powerful. The Barbaric Bear King and the Spirit Bear King were not his opponents at all. They could not even handle one attack. Great. The more powerful Master Yi is, the more hope our Zhongtian martial school will have. Let's see if the top 3 martial schools dare to insult us again in the future. Everyone from the Zhongtian martial school was overjoyed. This is not good. Could it be that Yi was telling the truth? This guy's power is even more powerful than the Tiger King. Ling Huho frowned. The Tiger King was one of the top 8 beast warriors, and his cultivation had already reached the peak of the first life and death challenge. If he were here, the 6 top half-step king warriors might not be able to take him down. This was the power of a top half-step king warrior, whose power was unpredictable. Leader, you and the Spirit Bear King are both good at sealing attacks. You might be able to take him down. We are not normal half-step king warriors after all. The Great Master of the Extreme Heaven Martial School said with a dark face. Yeah. Ling Huho nodded slightly. He was very confident in his sealing attack, and even the Spirit Bear King was not as good as him. With their combined sealing attacks, they would be able to trap Yi Chen for a couple of breaths' time, which would be more than enough for him to land a deadly attack. You guys, come at me together. I will take care of you all at the same time and make you guys lie on the ground for a year and a half. In the midair, Yi Chen held his evil-shattering sword as his eyes landed on the 6 half-step king warriors from the top 3 martial schools. This time, he planned to attack them even harder than Ling Hui. Even if they had precious treasures to heal them, they would not be able to recover in a short period of time. How arrogant! Do you really think that you can take on the 6 of us by yourself? 2 half-step beast kings from the Bald Eagle Valley stood out. They both had eagle noses, thin lips, and 2 black dots in their eyes. They did not look like human eyes at all. They were indeed the Flying Eagle King and the Grey Eagle King. Then, Ling Huho and the Great Master of the Extreme Heaven Martial School stood out as well. Along with the Savage Bear King and the Spirit Bear King, the 6 half-step king warriors surrounded Yi Chen in the middle. The rest of them had all backed out for dozens of miles, not daring to stay at the edge of the battle. This guy is tricky. Let's take him down together. Let's see what else the Zhongtian Martial School has. The Spirit Bear King wiped the blood off his mouth as he signaled Ling Huho with his eyes. Ling Huho did not even look away as he stared at Yi Chen. Let's do it. Ling Hu, who had always been decisive, so he attacked Yi Chen right away. He put his hands together and then opened them up. A black core energy appeared in front of Yi Chen, and a powerful suction force started to drag Yi Chen's body with the black core as the center. Achem! Yi Chen could feel that this suction force was affecting his speed. Even if he pushed his speed to its limit, he would not be able to escape from it. Indeed, a half-step king warrior with no special features was not scary at all. But a half-step king warrior with special tricks would be hard to ignore even if they were not that powerful. Earth Prison. The Spirit Bear King's reaction was not slow at all. The second Ling Huho made his move, he had also formed a spell. All of a sudden, the yellow cube sealed Yi Chen again. Let's kill him together. Seeing that Yi Chen had been trapped by 2 powerful sealing spells, the rest of the people looked excited. The Grey Eagle King and the Flying Eagle King waved their hands like wings, throwing out countless wind blades. These wind blades rotated intensely, rubbing against the space and bringing up bright sparks. The Savage Bear King and the Great Master threw out a punch and a kick respectively. The fist power and leg power attacked the yellow cube from the left and right, moving like lightning. Meanwhile, the Spirit Bear King's follow-up attack was still a yellow mountain falling from the sky like a falling star. As for Ling Huho, countless black light chi power appeared around his body. It was centered around the black core energy inside the yellow cube, shooting out with a sizzling sound. 6 half-step king warriors combined their powers, and 2 of them had used their sealing spells to trap Yi Chen. The power that they had released could even kill a normal top half-step king warrior within a second. In their opinion, Yi Chen was not going to make it out alive. Master Yi. Everyone from the Zhongtian Martial School was getting anxious. Lu Yuming yelled, wanting to go up and help. But the Grey Eagle King from the Bald Eagle Valley was already prepared for him. A pair of wings appeared behind his back, and as he flapped them, a huge wind was brought up. A sky full of wind blades attacked toward Lu Yuming, preventing him from getting closer. Inside the yellow cube, Yi Chen's expression did not change at all. His soul power was spread out, and he could clearly sense the 6 attacks coming at him. Woo! He waved the evil vanquishing sword lightly, without any hesitation. All of a sudden, the yellow cube and the black core energy started to twist, hovering between illusion and reality. In front of the space power, anything could twist and disappear. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.